Greetings, Battle Brothers. It's me, Aurelia Tempris, defender of the Golden Throne and servant of humanity. Hi, everyone. Hi. We are, as of, 30 minutes ago? 30 minutes ago, we are now officially Twitch partner. So thank you, everyone, for being here. I'm so honored and I am so grateful for all of you. Thank all of you for being here. You guys have been amazing, and I think I'm like the luckiest creator out there. I have such a wonderful, amazing community, and thank you, everyone. I've got the stomp. This has been a very good day. Yo, Rose Silky, thank you so much for the 5 gifted. You're amazing. Thank you so much. I love all these emotes. They're so cute. Let me turn my music on. I apologize, stream is late. I was running around and I was like, oh, I need to make a post, and then I got so distracted and sidetracked. Let me turn music on in the background. Yes, this works. Okay, there we go. Why didn't that... Oh, I know why the redeem didn't work. I'm sorry. I forgot to turn on my streamer bot. There we go. I was like, why are my redeems not going off? Time for celebrations. It is time for celebrations. And here, I'll turn... Okay, we'll put that over there. Okay, I'll make sure, Rose Selkie, you get First Legion. There you go. Sorry, I forgot I had that. I didn't have it pulled up. We already redeemed Do the Do. I saw that. I wasn't even gonna make you guys redeem Do the Do. Honestly, I would turn off the limits on Do the Do, but I'm afraid if I let it go, I'll have like 30,000 of them by the end of stream today. Your model looks really cool. I love your armor design. Thank you so much, Shadow Bass. Or is it Base? Shadow Base. Probably Shadow Base. Sorry about that. Yeah, we're celebrating good times. Let me open. Let me crack open a cold one. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm so happy, and I'm just grateful for all of you. It sounds really cheesy, but I am. Take a sip of the Code Red. It tastes so sweet. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything else. Rice Hill, thank you so much for resubscribing as well. Congrats for making partner, Aurelia, and thank you for 6 months of goofy custody shenanigans. You are absolutely welcome. I'll be here most of the night. I don't know about all night. Most of the night. She's caught onto the plan. Abort. I see everything. I see everything. Hi, how am I doing today? I'm doing very well. Well, I got an email about 35 minutes ago that I'm a Twitch partner, and I'm so excited. I was really stressed out about it because I applied like almost 3 weeks ago, and Twitch says that it takes like 1 week for them to review partner applications, and it's been almost 3, and I've been stressing out about it, but it's okay. I will resub tomorrow, as it is my last day as the sub. Otherwise, I would right now. Don't worry, you never feel like you have to resub. I will be streaming tomorrow, but don't ever feel like you need to resub. I'm just happy you're here. I'm just happy you're here, and we can celebrate and chit chat and talk together. Let me make sure I'm getting pinged. 1 second. Aww. Rose Selkie, I just saw your message in the Discord. Join the Discord if you haven't. Even my husband, who rarely watches, says congrats. Thank you very much. Tell him I say thank you. There we go. We're gonna snooze. We're gonna snooze the ads. I'm gonna try to snooze ads. You can hear the joiner voice. I was trying to put it out of my mind because I was like really worried about it. So to all of a sudden see an email from Twitch with that was very, very, very unexpected. Twitch took 3 weeks to get back to you. They need to talk to Big E. Yeah, I bet you that was a bit of a struggle. Can't get very far with that guy. But I have more things to yap about because today, even though I'm not going to change the stream plan, even though partner is very, very exciting. I'm not changing the plan. We are going to stick with Star Wars versus Warhammer 40k. It's going to be great. I can't wait. But we'll yap a little bit, probably for like maybe like 15 more minutes or so before we go. The caps lock stays on. I'm so excited for you. Thank you. I sadly have to miss some of the stream. I gotta get food and let my uncle's dog out and put some yellow on my army. Yes, get your minis painted. Get your minis painted. Don't even worry about it. I'm glad you're all hanging out here today, even just for a little bit. I've got some stories. Congratulations, Captain General. You get a new name as a result of this. That's a good question. That's a good question, Jonah. Okay, important question, chat. Should I get a new title as a result of the Twitch partner status? Do we think that's a good idea? Okay, I'm seeing some yeses. Yes, new title? Have to get back to work, but I'm glad I was able to swing by. Have a great stream. Aurelia, yap for the golden throne. Yes, okay, it looks like, okay, we'll get a new title. So, if you want to participate and you want to suggest some ideas for a new title, join the Discord, and I will open up a channel. I'll do it tonight. Unlike all the other things that I say, I'll do, like, on a given day. I will open up the channel for all of the recommendations. So, I'm so happy. Oh, wait, and look, hang on, hang on, we're gonna do this. And look, chat. I have a little check mark next to my name now. I have a little check mark next to my name. For those of you on the YouTube side, you can see it on the screen. I sent a message on Twitch and you can see I have a little check mark. It's so cute. I've infected the Discord. Hopefully you're not Nurgle cultist. Yeah. But anyways, I have stories. I have stories to share with you before we start Star Wars versus Warhammer 40k. So, oh, I didn't take a picture of it. I can take a picture of it now. 1 second. So, I was putting... I'm snoozing the ads again. Snooze. Okay, I think that's the last snooze I can put on the ads. So I apologize in advance. The check mark is as small as our small stodies. Okay, that's just hurtful. Let me just hang on. Okay. I'm just double checking the picture to make sure there's like nothing compromising in it. Okay, so I was putting up my new monitor. I was putting it on a different stand. And I was having some difficulties with it, and I accidentally cracked like the plastic that was like holding up, like that's holding my monitor together, and I was really annoyed because I was like, man, I didn't need to go through the whole process of setting up my monitor. I should have just had a servitor do it, if I'm being perfectly honest. But mistakes were made. So I hung it up, and I was like, ah, man, this sucks. It's cracked, and it's very obvious. But then I had a genius idea, and I took a picture. So I'm gonna pull it down, and I'm gonna show you guys what I did. I'm very pleased with what I did. One sec. Okay. There we go. Sorry, I just needed to crop the photo really fast. Okay. That didn't take very long, huh? Okay, this is what I ended up doing that I thought would appease the machine spirits. I put the pin that I got. It only covers one set of cracks. Zoran! Welcome in? Hi! Hello! Thank you so much for the 5 gifted and the congratulations! I am a huge fan of your work. I am absolutely flattered. Thank you very much. Wow. I don't know what to say. I'm absolutely stunned. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. That was so kind of you. Keep kicking cheeks out there. Don't worry. I'm on it. I will keep at it. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for popping in. I really hope your streams have been going well. I occasionally pop in, but I'm a notorious lurker, as my chat will testify. I'm not much of a chatter. And Froggy! Froggy, it's good to see you! Thank you so much for the congratulations. I'm so sorry that we couldn't play, the other day. I felt so bad. It was in the middle of my workday, and I couldn't make it work. Aurelia lurks like the Alfaris she is. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I am a notorious lurker. It's the introvert in me. No, it's fine. Time zone sucks. We'll play one day. Yes, we will. We will. We'll make a plan. Maybe we should put something on the calendar. Oh. Oh my gosh, thank you. Murphy, you've saved me. Thank you very much, Murphy. You are amazing, Murphy. Thank you for saving me from the fate that is Aurelia. In front of the new people. That was beautifully done. That was beautifully done. But we'll put something on the calendar. Oh, can't stay long, but wanted to wish you all have a good stream. Thank you so much, Zoran. I am grateful that you stopped by. Thank you very much for the gifted. I really appreciate it, and I say the word appreciated too many times, but I'm trying to find a better synonym. I'm extremely grateful and thankful that you popped in and said hi, and for the support. That means a lot. So I'll have to maybe say something next time I'm in one of your streams, so I stop being a notorious lurker. I'll get better, I promise. But thank you very much. Oh my goodness. It's all good, yeah. Oh, I think there's art of me lurking too. Drywall Eater Alfarius, thank you for subscribing on the YouTube side. That name makes me laugh. I didn't even see Aurelia, I just thought the 20th was funny. Well, Murphy, don't you even worry about it. You know what, Murphy? You could have just said, yes, you're right, Aurelia, I saved you from a terrible fate. And I would have been like, oh, my hero. Oh, what was I talking about before everything just went and exploded? Oh, I cracked my monitor, and I have a little pin that I got as a gift, and I put it on the corner of my monitor, and it covers like the crack perfectly, and it's really cute. The purity seal, honestly, I think the machine spirit is appeased. I think I need to get another one for the other side. But I think it has to be like a different one. So I have to decide which one I want to get. He's so cute. Yes, the purity seal is fortifying the machine spirit. I'm a wiggle, 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 wiggle. I have an excessive emotion and I don't know what to do with it. It's a cool looking seal. Yeah, so, Starforged does a lot of, like, cool Warhammer merch. I like it a lot. I actually got my friend, I already gave it to her, so it doesn't matter. My friend Kyra, I found that they had, Sister of Battle necklace, so I bought one for her. And I gave it to her, and she was geeked out. She was so excited. She was losing her mind. It was great. It was fantastic. Bloodgrave Chaosbringer, thank you for subscribing. I'm a little concerned about your name, but I guess I'll just thank you. We'll call it a day. Also, the picture is covering you too. I'm sorry. I have like two. I don't have many options. Well, it's very late. The bird will now switch to just listening and slowly drifting to sleep. Yes, with your new IKEA shark. Didn't I see a video about those like being like what? It's like $10 or 10 euros. I don't know where they were being sold. I wasn't paying attention. I just saw a pile of blahages. Blahage. Well, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. You get the good sleep. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Just a little bit. Thank you, ALJ, for the super chat. Berserker, oh, and Soko, both of you, thank you so much for resubscribing. Legas, I'm surprised you haven't updated the skitter on Twitch yet. So let me just say I planned to update it, but then I got the email from Twitch and I've been a mess. I've been a mess. I have not done anything that I planned to do. I've been all over the place. I mean, when am I not all over the place, but especially so. Especially so. They were 8 pounds. The blahages were 8 pounds. Oh, the small ones. I wish I was more of a blahage fan, but I'm not. Like, not that I don't like them. It's just like, I don't know what I would do with a stuffed shark. What are the requirements and perks of making partner? I get more, I don't know exactly how it works. I skimmed the email, but basically I get more support from Twitch. I think my revenue is higher. So for ads, I get a higher cut than what I had before. I think those are the very basic ones. And oh yes, ooh. Also, I can apply to be on the front page of Twitch. So we might do that here in the next couple months. We'll see. They have to accept my application, of course, but I can apply for that sort of thing. What I needed, you need a average CCV of 75 viewers or more over the course of like 2 months, basically. There it is. I pushed the ads off for as long as I could. I'm so sorry. We fortify this chat. And it's okay, you don't have to keep yelling. It's all good. Yeah, you can apply for Partner Plus later down the line for a 70% cut instead of the usual 50-50. Yeah, so let me check something. I'm actually surprisingly... Let me see. I actually have some... I'm on my way, actually. I need one more month. So this is the last month. I already have 2 months in a row to reach better monetization. It's called like the plus goal. I think it shows up on my about page. But I get a better revenue split based on like, it's really weird. They don't do it based off gift subs. They do it off of people subscribing themselves. It makes more sense down there. I'm not going to explain it as well as someone else could. My brain's all over the place. Understandable. I hope everyone enjoys the new skitter once it drops here. Congrats on the partnership and Mary Sanguinala. Yes, thank you so much. Oh, and by the way, we will be streaming on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So if those of you who don't have anyone to hang out with, or you're bored on Christmas, we will be streaming. I do not know the times just yet, but I will be online if you want to hang out. We'll have some fun, like, holiday-themed activities that I think will be enjoyable and slightly Warhammer-themed. So yeah, that's gonna be exciting. But of course, if you are already spending it with your family and friends, please don't come to stream. Hang out with them. The VODs will be here when you come back. So please hang out with your friends and family. That is so important. I cannot stress it enough. I cannot stress it enough. Nilsaf, thank you so much for the 5 gifted. Thank you very much. Oh, and there was another another bits. Armored by faith, shielded by devotion, armed with purity of purpose. Congratulations on your achievement, Aurelia. Thank you so much, Zero. Thank you so much. And thank you for the bits as well. Making a partner gift, also for showing me Siri. She's great. Oh my gosh, she is lovely. She's absolutely lovely. We ended up chatting after stream the other day, and she was very fun to talk to. She was very fun to talk to. We just need Fan to show up to the stream. I know Fan likes to lurk, but it is a Friday night. I'm sure he has other things to do. And we have been spoiled with Fan's presence. A Fan has showed up to more streams than I was expecting. So we have already been very spoiled. Very, very spoiled. She has a hypnotic voice. It's a very lovely voice. I love it. Have I played Rogue Trader yet? So actually, Rogue Trader was the first game I streamed, but because of the massive amounts of dialogue, I decided it wasn't really good for streaming. So I played Bolt Gun instead. So there's like maybe 2 streams of me playing Rogue Trader, and you can hear baby Aurelia voice, even though it's only from like 10 months ago. Imagine that. Yeah, 10 months ago. Yeah, a little over 10 months ago. "10-month-old baby." Hey, don't worry. At least I'm not gonna be like, if I keep streaming a few years down the road, I'm not gonna be like, it's our 38th month of streaming. I know Twitch breaks it down when someone is subscribed for for a long time. They this is their 37th month because that's how they do it. But I'm not gonna be like, this is my 37th month streaming. I'm not gonna be like one of those parents. It's like, how old? Oh, how old's your child? Oh, like 20 months. I'm like, what does that mean? Just say they're like a year and a half and change. That's more like a year and 2/3. Our 40th millennium of streaming. Oh my goodness. Ugh. Imagine, I'm always impressed when there's like streamers. They're like, this is my 16th year of streaming. I'm like, your streaming career could drive, at least in the United States. I don't know what the laws are elsewhere. Oh my gosh, some of these comments. Hello, honored sister, how are you doing today? I am doing very well. Thank you so much for asking. We're just gonna, well, actually, oh wow. 15, 20 minutes flies by. I was gonna give it a little bit. Oh yes, you're right. Okay, my apologies, I forgot. So, I meant to say, in addition to me streaming on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, we will be having a couple of community events. We're still working out some of the details, and they will work around the times I'm streaming. I really won't know until like the beginning of next week, the times I can stream. However, we are going to have some community events in the Discord. If you just want to hang out with people and have a good time, have some laughs, have some fun, my moderators and admins will be running it. That's not to say I won't be there, but I can't really, I don't know if I'll be there until like the day of. So yeah, times are to be decided, but it should be a lot of fun. Oh, hey, I also have, oh, I guess I forgot about that too. Thank you for the congratulations. Mods, could one of you please post the link for on YouTube and Twitch for the moderator applications, please, and just say like, you want to be an Aurelia mod, and then you the link and just pin it, please. We also have applications open for mods. I'm starting to collect a couple more, so please, if you're interested in helping out the community, fill out the form. I highly recommend, because I read these. I read these applications. I highly recommend you formulate some of your responses in a way, try to impress me. I'll put it that way. Try to impress me with your decision making and reasoning skills. Hi Stella! Hi Stella! Now, can we give a shout out to Stella? Because I love her. I love you, Stella! Hi! I hope the rest of your stream was good. I wanted to watch more of it, but I have my own stream. Hi Stella! Stella is my friend. Did we get, like, how do I don't know all the buttons. Is this it? Manage goals, no. Shout out. I don't know how to do it. I'm so pretty. I think it's this, huh? Shout out. This one. That one. I am Stella. I hope I don't need capitals. Oh gosh. Yes, I got it. I got it. At least I think I did. I'm not sure. Stream is so fun, but not as fun as you getting partner. Oh my gosh. I'm. Thank you. Thank you. And you told me I shouldn't be worried. And after I got the email, I was like, oh. I was like, yeah, Stella was right. Stella is the voice of reason. Our streamer does worry a bit from time to time. Yes, I try not to. I try not to stress about things, but when Twitch says it'll be a week and it ends up being 3, you can imagine I'd get a little antsy. I'm glad it worked out for you. Glad your worrying was for naught. Yes, I am too. Thank you, Stella, for being awesome and being the voice of reason and reassuring me that it was gonna be okay regardless of whether or not I was accepted. So, thank you. I can't wait to hop into your stream when, I can't wait to hop into your stream when you make partner. I know you're gonna make it soon. I've seen so many streamers panic about 2 weeks and then they get it after a month. Yeah, if they just adjusted the time frame in which they said they would get back to you, I would feel much more comfortable. Aww. That's so cute. You're so sweet. You're so sweet, Stella. See? Chat, this is what I was talking about. Compliment circle. Hang on. I have to... Oh. I think I'm the only one that can pin things. Pin. There we go. Got it. Got it. Pin. There we go. Got it. Perfect. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Today's been a good day. Today's been a very good day. What's a compliment? Did Stella ask that question? One day I will get Stella accustomed to accepting compliments. And it'll be so easy for her. We'll get to that point. I know it wasn't you. Don't worry, Stella. I'll fight you with love. With all the love that I have in my heart. Chat, you're breathtaking. No, you're breathtaking. It's the phenomenon when you get girls, especially, there's something about girls who don't like super know each other, where we get into compliment circles. It's funny, because if you're a girl, and I know if there's any ladies in here, they can attest to it. If you see a girl in the street and you think her outfit is cute, and you say, oh my gosh, I love your outfit. Like, what's the ratio? I would say at least 50% of the time, probably more than that, she will compliment you back. She will find something about you to compliment because she is thankful for your compliment. It is true. And usually it'll, like, it depends on the scenario. But it definitely is like, oh my gosh, well, your eyes are so pretty. Like, and especially if you know them a little bit better, it gets into a compliment circle where you just keep complimenting each other. It's really funny. It's so funny. Oh, Lambo, thank you for the super chat. Stella is a joy to be around, and the super chat is worth it to tell her. Get appreciated. Yeah, get appreciated, Stella. Get appreciated. Okay? It's hard to give random compliments without coming off as weird. As a man, I mean, if you were like a dude, I could totally see it. For girls, I think it just is a little bit easier, because usually, who said that? Ban them? No, I'm not doing that. That's my mod. I'm not gonna ban my mod. No. He's fine. Yeah, as a man, when you compliment someone, like especially a woman, I imagine that is like really awkward. As a girl, we can kind of get away with a lot. Does Cha-Cha know about you being a Twitch partner now? Yes, she does. She messaged me right before stream, which is partly why I was late, because I was responding to her. So it was just like, yeah. I also posted it on Twitter, so I think she probably responded to it. I'm guessing. I haven't looked though. Pro tip for guys, compliment a specific part of the outfit. I agree. Okay, really fast. Tips on complimenting a woman that you don't know, like absolute stranger. I would not comment on the pants unless the pants are like a very interesting color or pattern. For example, if a woman is wearing like a gray top and like a black jacket, like darker colors up top, but she's wearing like, let's say bright pink pants, and you're like, wow, I love those pants, love the color. Be like specific about the compliment. Because if you say, oh, I love those pants, she's like, was he looking at my butt? No. You say, wow, that color on those pants are like... Hang on, let me rephrase. That was like really awkward sounding. You go with, that color looks great on you. Those pants are awesome. Something like that. Like you can get away with if it's like a color. And something as mundane as like, wow, that color looks great on you. That's usually safe. Like, hey, that color looks awesome. Yeah. That's usually, you can get away with that. Stella's fighting my mods. Yeah, be specific and not like... Yeah, you gotta be just a little bit specific. Yeah, you can also say the outfit looks cute or cool, but some people... I would prefer, you should probably go with cool over cute. Because if you say, oh wow, your outfit is cute, they could get the wrong impression. But if you say cool, you're like, oh man, that's a cool outfit. Very different vibe. But I can understand. It's a tricky situation, because even if you fall within those parameters, people can still be annoyed and or upset about it. See, it's about giving just like an honest compliment that isn't creepy. Actually, Rose Selkie, you bring up a very good point. I have a friend who talked about, like, if you compliment a woman's shoes, they're gonna love it. Compliment a woman's shoes, it's like free money, basically. That's how my friend put it. Like, it's free money. Really, really easy. Because they'll be like, oh my gosh. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend talking about the hair either. That is a tricky line to walk. I wouldn't comment on the hair. I wouldn't comment on the hair. That's... Yeah, I think only comment on the hair if you're, like, dating a person. Or, like, you're good friends. You're good friends with them. What is with women and their feet? No, it's not the feet, it's the shoes. The shoes are what's important. Yeah, I don't want compliments about my feet. The last thing I want is someone to walk up and say, hey Aurelia, I like your feet. I instantly have a very good idea of what kind of a person you are. But if you say, Aurelia, I really like those heels you're wearing, I'll be like, oh, thank you. Because I think a decent chunk of women like shoes. I am no exception. I'm not an exception to that. Like, I like shoes. Do I wear heels all the time? No, but I do like the shoes that I wear. Ayo, those grippers though. I don't think that will work. Best of luck to you. You let me know how that goes. And, I'll go to your funeral. I will attend your funeral. Okay? The golden sabatons you're wearing are absolutely divine. Wow. Oh my goodness, you noticed? Isn't it more accurate to say that almost no matter what the compliment is, it matters more whether or not the person finds you attractive or not? That is a part of it. However, I will... I'm putting myself in this scenario. If I'm like walking down the street and someone comments on my outfit, like let's say my shoes specifically, like, oh, I like your shoes. I'll be like, oh, thank you. And this sounds bad, but sometimes because I am, and it depends on the person, if it catches you off guard enough, you get wrapped up in the compliment, and you don't see the person. You're just like, oh my gosh, someone thought, like, someone thought my shoes or my outfit was nice enough to say something. And it doesn't matter what they look like. I like how Aurelia is basically telling you guys to not let women know you're a perv until after the first interaction. I'm just saying you don't want to lead with that. I think it goes without saying, don't be a perv. But you especially don't want them to know after the first interaction. I mean, am I wrong? Is this how Sanguinius got me? Oh. That is a good point. Probably not. I don't know. Kind of like the guy already. I can't comprehend the female fascination with shoes. Okay. That's actually, that could be a whole essay topic. Be a whole essay topic. Hello, Mystic Zealot. Welcome in, welcome in. I would say, so, I'll give you some insight. Some women like shoes because of the brand. So, like, what is it? The Louis Vuittons or something. I'm not a fashionista. You could probably tell. That have like the red bottoms, like those are like high-end, like really nice shoes. They're statement pieces. For me, my personal preference when it comes to shoes is shoes that match like my shirt color. For example, if I am wearing a red shirt, and this could be like a t-shirt, but usually if it's like an outfit that I'm like paired with jeans or something, I like to have like similar color shoes, whether that's like red or maroon or something like that. That's usually how I like to pair the shoes, because then people see my shirt and the shoes and then they match and it looks nice. So it depends it varies amongst the individuals, but I personally like to have the shoes that match because I get more compliments because people see the shirt and they see that I paid enough attention to put on shoes that matched. They do bring an outfit together, I agree. So. So yeah, I'm not a like, oh, I need the fanciest shoes kind of girl, which is to each their own. If you like really fancy shoes, good for you. I prefer just I prefer like a very like comfortable kind of sneaker style. That's probably the best way to put it. Oh my gosh, my neck. Ow. Did you guys hear my neck popping? Out of curiosity. Ow. Tomboy vibes, love it. Yeah, I've been a tomboy most of my life. I would never describe myself as a girly girl. As I've gotten older, there are more like feminine things that I do. So like I'm more likely to like get my nails done, more so now because I stream. As funny as that is. But for the most part, I'm the more like sporty kind of girl. So yeah, but I do love a good dress. If a dress looks good on me, yes. But I'm not like, I don't wear skirts. I don't wear skirts. Not that I don't like them. I used to wear a bunch, like the little skirts, like the skirts with little shorts when I was like really young. I loved those. Those were great. But as it currently stands, I'm like, eh, not so much. So are the shirts bought to match the shoes or the other way? Or this sounds stupid. No, so let me put it this way. I have, and I think everyone is like this to an extent, they have colors that they prefer to wear. So there's like a set of like, yeah, there's colors I think I look good in. So I have a lot of shirts that are a particular color or shade. And I happen to find shoes that match. So like, for example, if I like to wear a lot of blue shirts or yellow, let's say yellow. I like to wear yellow. And I found a yellow pair of like what, Vans. I'll probably buy the Vans because I have a lot of yellow shirts and it matches like that. It can go, it's usually I have the shirts first and then I get the shoes. But I also rarely go shopping. I'm probably like long overdue. I'm probably very like long overdue for a shopping trip. I hate shopping. I don't like the way I look in clothes. It's kind of a weird thing. It's just a weird thing. Dropping in to say hi. Sorry I can't be around for this one. No worries, fan. I was telling everyone earlier that we have been absolutely spoiled by your presence. That we've been absolutely spoiled by your presence. So we are just happy that you came by and said hi. Friday nights are busy for everyone, especially towards the end of the year. So thank you for stopping by and just saying hi. I appreciate it. Can't wait to watch more. We haven't gotten very far because of excitement today. So thank you for at least coming by. Got a notification of unlocking the Founder's Badge. Doing good. Hopefully you are too. Yeah. Oh, you were talking to Ultra. Oops. She hates shopping. She is one of the boys. Oh no. Okay. Can't say that. It's embarrassing to say, but that is how that is kind. Okay, this is bad. This is bad. I don't think this way now, but I definitely when I was younger, and I was very nerdy. I was very, very nerdy, and I would not call myself the most how you say attractive when I was getting my education. So I was content with, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not like one of like the girly girls, but you know what? I'm gonna be like the coolest, like tomboy-esque girl ever. So, I wasn't even like in friend groups with like a ton of guys either. So, you know, that says a lot about me. But yeah, I was like, I'm like one of the boys. So I made it my mission. I was like, I am going to be the most attractive girl, not because I am like physically attractive in terms of looks, but because I will be the most competitive girl and I will beat I will beat any and every girl in whatever physical competition there is. So if it's a race, you better believe I'm getting down. I'm gonna be the fastest. Like in terms of like physical games and stuff. Were you the awkward kid? No, I wouldn't say. There was kids that were way more awkward than me, but I would not say I was particularly gifted. I wasn't a popular kid, let's say that. Tomboy fantasy girl. Yes, pretty much. That's what it boils down to. And so it was bad for a time because I was like, all the other girls are my enemies, which they weren't. They really weren't. They were just existing, and I was being dumb. So yeah, I was very happy that I was not like those other girls, and I didn't like shopping, and I didn't get my nails done every week, and my eyebrows. Let's not talk about the eyebrows. I did some girly things, but I took solace in being the tomboy girl. Were you into Warhammer back then? No, actually, I only got into Warhammer recently. It'll be like 2 years in April. You sound like the inverse of young me. Well, I would still... I wouldn't say that I am... I'm curious to know what you mean, ALJ. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. Like, like, I wouldn't... I would say I'm mostly, like, the same. I don't have all of those, I don't have all those same opinions about other women and girls who are just existing. Like, they're not competition at, like, and not in the way that like, oh, I'm better than them. No, it's just that everyone's just existing and trying to get through high school or whatever. They're just trying to get through whatever. They're not my enemies. Gosh, we're admitting a lot today. We used to make Lego stop motion videos with the monobrows. Oh my gosh, I love those videos. Can I tell you, that was like my childhood. I love to watch those like Lego stop motion videos. They were fantastic. And now you have an army of plastic. Welcome to adulthood. You're right, now I do. I mean, yeah. Yep. Yep. Oh gosh. My god, what is that? But yeah, I've much improved. I would not call myself the popular girl by any means, but I'm definitely much better than I was before. Much better. Oh, teens are their own worst enemies? Absolutely, absolutely. 100%. 100%. Oh, thank you, Ryan. Thank you so much. I never got into Transformers, so I was like, it's hard to explain. I was like a tomboy, but I still did girly things. But compared to like all of the other girls, I was very much a tomboy. So where they got their like nails done, I was like digging in the dirt. That's not true, but that's like, that's the separation of what it was like. Which I enjoyed it. Honestly, I had fun. Like, if I ever have a daughter, like, they're gonna do whatever they do, you know, kids' personalities develop in different ways, but I think there is more value to running around playing in the dirt than being like, oh, you're a princess at all times. Like, roll around in the dirt, go play in the street, go catch bugs during recess. That's what I did. I caught bugs during recess. I was one of the bug girls. For only 1 year, though. For only 1 year. And now you have very pretty nails, character growth. Well, okay, I always had nice nails. Like, whenever they got painted, they look really nice. It was just I never got them done. And I still don't get them done, technically. I get press-ons. Congratulations on passing your driver's test. Good for you. That's amazing. Congratulations. You are now free to do not whatever you want, but you can do so much more now. Congratulations. In public, tomboy, at home, girly? Kind of. It's hard to explain. Let's see if there's a better way to put it, but there's really not. So you're not going to force your kids to fit certain roles? Not in the way that the Big E did it, but there are certain values I would like to instill within my children, which I think that's like what most people do with their kids, that they're like, okay, these are the values that I would like my child to have, the character traits I would like them to have. And then you work it in with their personality. I used to be such a tomboy, I feel guilty wanting to wear princess clothes now. Froggy, no, don't feel guilty. Let's wear princess clothes together. Let's wear them together, please. I honestly, yes. Like, Froggy, let me tell you, my dilemma whenever there is like a Renaissance fair or some sort of like medieval event in town, I always am torn. I'm so torn. Do I look like a beautiful, gorgeous princess? Or do I look like the coolest adventurer that's ever walked the planet? And I have such a hard time deciding. I usually go with like a really cool, sick-looking adventurer. But if there was someone who decided they wanted to look gorgeous with me, I would do it. I would do it. There's this really pretty... It's so expensive. It's so expensive, and I cannot justify buying it because I don't know how often I would wear it. But there's this really pretty gold dress. It's so expensive, but I want to wear it so badly. It's so gorgeous. Why not both? So there's like a particular vibe I go for. Do it. I'm gonna either way since I dress as my avatar. That's amazing. My armor makes it a little bit difficult. I can't. I could pay someone to do it, to design the armor to 3D print, but not currently at the moment. I was always the worst at physical things when I was a kid, and this is what I meant by the inverse of young me. Oh, okay. I was like, what do you mean? Thank you for the super chat, LJ. Now I understand. Thank you. I got one of those silky mystery bags with the poofiest baby pink dress. Oh. Silky dress. Oh, that's so pretty. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Wait. Is this the shop? Dresses. This, I think I've seen this company. Oh my gosh. Oh, they're so pretty. Oh my goodness. Do they have a gold one? I want a gold dress. Dude, I was debating getting a gold dress in case there was like Christmas parties or something this year. But I didn't get one. But I'm like, bro, like it gives main character energy, and I'm not sure if I want to go there just yet. Like I don't. Oh, okay, that's really cute. Should we do what we actually said we were going to do today? And watch some Star Wars versus Warhammer 40k. Should we do that thing? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be like looking at this website because I think I've seen the Selkie dresses before, but now I need to look at them more. You mean not just vibe and yap? Look, I thought it was only gonna be 30 minutes, but then like so many people like to talk to. You have 3 now? At least these dresses aren't as expensive as the ones I want to get. I should wait, actually, I'm gonna find the link, Froggy, and I'm gonna message you. I'm gonna message you the dress that I think is so pretty that I want to get, but it's way too expensive. I can't. I don't even want to say the number of it because some people here in chat are insane. And I don't need that on my conscience. I think the gown I have could be a size smaller. But hey, you could get it altered. You could get it altered. I can't take more dress talk. I apologize. I'm just a girl. Even though I am... I think a tomboy mostly on the surface, I do have natural girly desires. I want to look pretty. I would like to look gorgeous. Oh my goodness. Froggy, send me pictures, please. Send me pictures. I need to see them. I need to obsess over dresses with someone. Okay, should we go? Should we do what we have set out to do? It's probably a good idea to watch Star Wars vs. Warhammer 40k. The next episodes are gonna be good. Okay, we'll watch it. I know, I'm so sorry. Sorry, gentlemen. I have been distracted. I am... I am a girl at heart, and I want to look gorgeous. So, yes, hello, and hello, Elusive Beast, hi. Glad to have you here. Okay. All right, we're gonna switch over. I think I should go to the bathroom before we do all this. But, yeah. Nothing wrong with such. Talking about dresses, good, because I like talking about it. It's funny, it's like something I've grown into. Let me. We've got this one. Okay. We are on episode, ooh, it started already. Episode 13. Turning that off. Oh, but what I was saying is, like, as I've gotten older, it's not like I've outgrown the tomboy. I'm still like, I'll still like tumble around and be like rough as I used to when I was younger, but I have an appreciation for like the finer, cuter things. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, these dresses are adorable, Froggy. I just got a DMs. Oh my gosh. The pink one is so cute. I don't have a, you look so good in this. I could not pull off a dress like that. I just don't think my body type is suited for it, but you make it look so cute. Oh my gosh. Oh, you look so good. Oh, these dresses look lovely on you. The strawberries. Oh, okay. When I get off stream, I will send you the gold dress that I was telling you about. It's so cute. Ah! So adorable. Okay, I will be right back. I'm gonna go to the bathroom because we're gonna watch some episodes. This is gonna be good. We love fans content. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna send it to you. I'm so excited. Yay, someone to talk about dresses with. Okay, I will be right back. Be good. And then we will start in like a minute or two. Okay? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I love whoever put the hat on my head while I was gone. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. My trash can and my blanket. I'm rolled up in my D20 blanket. I love him. I thought I turned the meme redeems off. Memes off. Apparently not. The D20 blanket? Yeah, I got it as a gift. I love him. Okay. Alright. Everyone. No spoilers, please. Don't even hint at a spoiler. So, Are they doing mystery bags? Oh no. Oh man, I might be screwed. Alright. No spoilers. Don't hint at the spoilers. Because I want to have a good time. Okay. Hope the audio is good. Ooh. Ow, my ears! Good. Think. There you go. Oh, I hate that guy. Every time I'm gonna say it. Yeah. At least the last time we did this, Obi-Wan is facing down a librarian who has already taken out several Jedi, which is not good for them. That's like that was the one part that was like the most impactful for me. Absolutely insane. Faith and fate. Ooh. I like the ominous music, make me happy.
This cramped, dimly lit room was not ideal for her battle, not by a long shot. Rajulia almost regretted her
she's
impulsive
fighting the
action,
Jedi.
seeing as it had left her without
Shock
the
T, right?
use of her bolter. She had, upon entering the command bunker, noticed that the crew in front of her were standing and sitting at their stations while simultaneously being still, silent, dead. The Sororitas had assumed witchery and blown the corpses away with a full salvo of her bolter, only thinking to counter a possible ambush from her blind side the moment after her last bolt had expended itself. The Sister Palatine, Rajulia, was regretting her snap decision more and more as she was made to shuffle and maneuver within the enclosed space. Dark at the best of times, the only light entering the command post now came from the outside, a crown of pale sunlight shining in through the squat windows which circled nearly the entirety of the octagonal room. The lumen lamps and other artificial light sources had been rendered inert when Rajulia's bolter had turned nearly half the post into an obliterated mess. Cogitators sparked and dripped amniotic substances onto the corpses of their former operators, machine and man equally soulless and unable to aid her.
I can't wait for this fight.
In desperation, her eyes darted to the door. Retreat was a bitter pill to swallow, but every moment she was forced to duel the athletic Xenos warrior, she grew more and more certain of how hopeless her fight was. Her maul could not produce a stable power field, only one that expelled in bursts, more akin to a small thunderhammer than the kind of weapon normally wielded by the law enforcers of the Adeptus Arbites. While this provided her with power, and with a method of forcing the foul Knight of Jedi back, it also meant that she could not lock blades with a man-shaped beast without destroying her own weapon in the process. The Crimson Razors had briefed her and her sisters extensively on these warriors after killing one of their masters during the initial invasion, and she knew well that she faced more than met her eyes in that dim chamber. These handicaps, paired with the cable-laden ground, dark environment, enclosed space, and psychic nature of her fierce foe, was just enough to make the sister consider escape in place of sure defeat.
Yeah.
But alas, the door had sealed behind her even before she had blown away the cogitators. She lacked the coordination while in powered armor to reliably tap in the proper code in a hurry, even if she could trust beyond reason that the door would remain powered while all else had gone dark. No, even retreat would not be possible. Rajulia discharged the bolt pistol she clutched in her left hand. She knew now not to aim for the damned Xenos directly, the creature using the warp to increase its own speed or even redirect the trajectory of her own bolts.
Yeah, you have to guess.
No. Instead, she used the explosions caused by the bolts themselves, firing the weapons into the ground around them as she fought to deny the alien knight some of her
Oh, I
potential
like that. That's
avenues
smart.
of attack. Rajulia felt her heart suddenly launch itself into her throat as the back of her heel caught on a thick, unseen cable which lay across the cluttered ground.
Oh no,
She
she's
bit
toast.
down on the dread, trained to harness such things in the instant they occurred, shifting her weight to turn her backward tumble into a full-powered upward kick. The Jedi backflipped from the path of the ruinous blow, her face impassive, as if all of this were merely a tedious chore for her. Rajulia rolled a dial on the handle of her power maul, further extending the shaft of the weapon as she whipped her hand back, smacking the floor behind her and creating a nearly deafening thump. The recoil from her power weapon giving her the push she needed to remain upright as she lowered her leg from the kick, power servos whirring and hissing with the movement. The Jedi had landed in a crouch and slowly, smoothly rose, saber forward. Her movements were unnatural, fueled by the power of the warp, and they struck the sister of battle as predatory. Like an ash tiger shifting its weight before a pounce, or the brief moment before a Vostroyan potato bear reared itself up, muscles silently bunching under fur.
Oh, that's...
Or, in this case, beneath voluminous robes. The fight was all but hopeless. Too many factors were against her, and Rajulia knew that even the last 30 seconds of frantic survival had composed some of the best maneuvering and dueling she had ever managed, especially with a power maul. And even then, she had only held her own for this long thanks to her strategic use of her bolt pistol, a pistol which had 2 shots left in it. Her time was ticking down, and from the look
she's
on the
not gonna
alien
make it.
warrior's face, that fact was no secret to either of them. She grit her teeth, controlling her fury as best she could. "Think!" she ordered herself. The brief pause she had been allowed would only last milliseconds more. Rajulia needed to think of something, or to buy more time to think of something. "Sneaking in and butchering our command staff. Just the kind of shadowy, dishonorable tactic I would expect from an alien witch and her order of heretics!"
Oof!
She spat. The sister spoke in Gothic. She had not had the time to even begin mastering any of the local languages, and she was only fluent in the most basic sentences of the local dialect. To her partial shock and disgust, the alien's eyes widened slightly, and her nostrils flared, clearly comprehending her. "You have no right to speak of honor, butcher. You and your regime are killing millions here on Axum. Innocent men, women, and children. People who were living their lives well enough without the threat of your own order of murderers bringing death and misery for the crime of not being human enough." The alien said back,
Skill
speaking
issue.
in accented but understandable Gothic. Rajulia's eyes darted about.
That's so
the room
bad.
was so cramped, especially for her in powered armor. And without her helmet on, she had not the augmentations nor transhuman sight to overcome all the darkness and obstacles around her. Yet she steeled her mind and reminded herself that in all things the faithful find a way. Yes, we have killed millions, and we will kill billions more. There is nothing we would not sacrifice, no act we would not commit, no height we shall not reach, if it means the survival of humanity. Rajulia retorted, "Survival? If survival is what you seek, then why make war with the Republic? Why kill all these people? They are no threat to you," the Jedi said. Rajulia thought, but did not look down at herself as she went over her armaments in her mind. She had more magazines for her discarded bolter, but they would do her no good, and recovering the weapon was out of the question. The alien would skewer her without a second thought. "Ha! You think just because you are shaped like humans, just because your faces look like ours, that this means you have succeeded? That you have deceived us, the Emperor's chosen? You have already shown us your true colors, and even if you had not, we would already know of your ways before falling victim to them. The sister accused. The alien blinked in a perfect imitation of human confusion, even shock. Shown our true colors? We have done nothing to earn such abuse from you and your emperor. We were engaged in our own war, which had nothing to do with you or with humanity in general.
Talking. This
the
is
Jedi
interesting.
Said. Sister Aurelia also had 2 grenades, one a frag and the other crack in nature.
Oh, but
Even
she can
finding the
suppress
right
that.
moment to reach down and snatch either one for use in the fight would be a tremendous challenge. Using the frag grenade in this kind of enclosed space would be suicide. After all, she was equipped with munitions sufficient to kill traitors.
But she's not opposed to sacrificing
Just
herself.
one such grenade could fill the entire interior of the post with inescapable death.
Yeah,
A
well.
bitter option, but one nonetheless.
Yep.
More lies, witch! Spare me! I know what your republic did to the Atlas of Steel. Hundreds of thousands dead in an instant! Would that you could show such fury to us on the battlefield, as you showed to those civilians who arrived, frightened and homeless upon your doorstep. Do not feign ignorance of your sins!
Oof.
Rajulia roared,
Big oof.
edging slightly to the left. This time, the Jedi said nothing, but her countenance, so superior and detached before, was now clouded, troubled as the sister's words struck some kind of chord within her.
Only hundreds of
Shakti
thousands.
did know what Rajulia was speaking of. Of course she did. That was no surprise to the Sister Palatine. What was shocking was that the alien would even play at being troubled at all. Rajulia used the time to consider her last weapon, her crack grenade. The crack was a pseudo-magnetic sphere, housing within itself a shaped charge affixed to a gyroscope. She knew they were pseudo-magnetic because whatever she hurled them at, be it the metal of a green-skinned tank, the ceramite of a traitor Astartes Terminator, or the biocarapace of a raging Carnifex, the grenades would generally succeed in adhering to the target. The gyroscope within spinning the charge to face the enemy and blowing a precise hole right through the unlucky and likely dead foe.
Yeah, but that's not going to work well in this room because there's so many computers and machines. The only way I could see it possibly working, and it's a stretch, is the lightsaber. But I don't think the lightsaber is magnetic in the way you'd want. And it's not nearly big enough to, like, get attracted to just that and not anything else in this room.
She doubted, however, that such a thing would work against the robes of the Jedi, and the blast radius on a crack grenade would not succeed in filling even this space, though it would likely do serious harm to an unaugmented human through the sheer change in air pressure. But such a thing was not something she could rely upon to kill the alien. She settled on her plan of attack, just as the Jedi began to speak again. That attack is a mystery, even to us. Please, we do not need to fight. There is clearly some kind of misunderstanding occurring between us. If you come with me, explain your context, your side of the alien began. Rajulia laughed. The sound a hoarse, humorless thing, a sound of tragic hatred, of malice burned so deep and ignited so powerfully that it was all the sister could do to laugh and not lunge out in an expression of her dire fury. You expect me, a holy maiden of the God Emperor, to surrender myself to you, an alien, an honorless witch, a petty heretical assassin? We stand amongst the dead, robbed by your hand and defiled by your psychic blight. And you have the audacity to even attempt to coax me into a surrender? The Jedi recoiled at the words, almost as if struck. She made no attempt to defend herself this time, merely grimacing, still looking troubled, but lifting her saber back into a proper, aggressive posture. Good. Accept this, Xeno. This is the way things should be. The natural state. No deceptions or lies or convoluted schemes. Just you and I and our people fighting for our place in this galaxy. A place which cannot be shared. Rajulia said.
Sharing is not caring in the Warhammer universe.
You cannot win, said the alien plainly. Rajulia smiled. You arrogantly think that because you have power over the warp, you are so formidable as to challenge me with such certainty? She said, shaking her head.
She's totally using the grenade and she's gonna go down with the ship. Oh my gosh.
I am a scion of the God Emperor's own will.
That's
his
weird
mandate
art.
Made flesh.
I've never
Within
seen it
me
before.
Is his word and his divine light. He is God of mankind, ruler of all, and I am his loyal daughter. What are you to that? She asked. The Jedi scowled.
I've never seen it before.
Your Emperor is not here, mad woman. No amount of delusion or belief in your false religion will overcome me or my ally, the Force. Do not surrender to the promise of peace, the potential to end this war. Surrender instead to the certainty of your own death. Death no distant god, real or not, can avert. The alien.
She's like, funny you mention that. I will surrender to my own death. And so will you.
Snapped. She brought her hands together on her saber and leveled the blade towards Rajulia's throat. Death only I can avert, the Jedi Master asserted. As she spoke, she allowed rippling gusts of power and force to come away from her, billowing her robes and nearly forcing the sister back. The pressure sending waves across her exposed face. Rajulia grit her teeth in a scowl which seemed to belong more on a crate dragon than on a human woman. Her servos whirred as she tensed, resisting the small storm before it settled. The Jedi stared her down, confident, though still troubled. No matter what, she was a warrior and had shoved all such issues to the side, focusing now on Sister Rajulia. The sister stood straighter and spat. I find your lack of faith disgusting. Your mastery over...
Oh, well done, well done. That was nice, that was nice. I find your lack of faith disgusting. Well, she didn't say it's a slight variation of it, but that was great. Because I thought it was going to be disturbing, but it's disgusting.
I find your lack of faith disgusting. Your mastery over the warp is nothing compared to the power of my faith. But enough words. Let our acts speak the truth, she growled.
Ooh.
The Sister Palatine followed the statement by opening fire with her pistol, aiming right for the Jedi as she lunged and began the last charge.
So she's gonna distract her. She's shooting at her to distract her. And then she's totally gonna... Oh, I just bonked the mic, sorry. Okay, the next one. The next one! There we go. Bum, 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 bum. Doing a little dance. I like the music. Honestly, the music is so great for this. Oh my goodness.
He was on his 9th attempt, and things inside the besieged Chimera had gone from bad to much, much worse. No matter what sequence Farnes could think of, no matter what code the guardsmen contrived, nothing was working. And was it any wonder? Farnes didn't know so much as how many numbers the code required, the input panel accepting as many digits as he typed into it, leaving him without any reference to how long the sequence of numbers should even be. And while he sat there, guessing for their lives, his squad was running out of time. The vehicle rocked as the toy soldiers outside began hitting back in a big way, and if not for Gala's almost precognitive skill inside the heavy bolter turret, it was all but a given that the Chimera would have already been reduced to cinders and searing steel. Oh, please, Holy Emperor of mankind, please guide my hand!
1, 2, 3, 4.
He prayed as he closed his eyes, dialing random numbers into the pad, and then biting his lips such that it bled, jabbing the enter key. This time, the same rejection notice that had presented itself each instance before did not appear, and a new message took its place. Farnes felt lightheaded, hands tingling as he grasped the wheel before him and made sure his feet were against the correct pedals, waiting for the controls to unlock.
The Emperor protects! The Emperor protects! Oh my god! Man is like, oh, it worked!
As his eyes focused on the new message. By the laws of logic, this Chimera platform is declared locked and is hereby inaccessible until such a time as the proper rights of
I was like, oh wait, did he do it? And it's like, nope. Locked.
Security reset may be preformed. Turn thyself in for punishment. Thy mind is unworthy of thine access. The young guardsman felt all the blood drain out of his face, his grip slackening around the wheel of the vehicle. He reached out with a numb hand, pressing a cold finger against the steel keys of the input pad.
Yikes.
There was no response, the message remaining unchanged. Using legs that felt utterly devoid of strength, he pressed against the pedals and found them locked. So that was it then. At first, he simply went limp, slumping into his seat and wishing he could will himself to die right there and then and spare the replique the shots they'd use. But then, a rage filled him, a defiance, a denial of the hand dealt to him. He gripped the wheel before him and grit his teeth, raising his heavy booted foot up from the pedals and aiming it at the display. "Thrown damned piece of treacherous!" He started to yell, spittle flying from his lips, when suddenly something happened that stopped not only him, but froze everyone in the vehicle, with the exception of Gala, who was far too enthralled in her bloody work to notice the change. The back door, the one that had been locked before, suddenly chimed and swung down and open. The sound and smell of the battle outside flooded the cabin of the APC, in with it came a willowy, ethereal figure dressed in red robes. Regin screamed, falling away from the wall-mounted lasgun he had been manning, and, drawing a pistol, riddling the figure with lances of red light.
What?
8 shots passed into and through the figure in red before Janice, who had been standing over Regin, had the good sense to kick his comrade in the face, knocking him out cold. The red-robed figure moved forward without pause or hesitance, even as it was struck by the lethal rays of light. The robe burned and smoldered, and then fell away completely, revealing that it was not a robe at all, but a portion of a Mechanicus banner. And the figure in question was barely that at all, no more than a floating head, or more accurately, a servo skull. The skull hovered between the stunned guardsmen, paying them no mind at all as it made its way into the driver's seat
Good boy,
area.
Steve!
Granger, get that thrown damn door shut! Janice, get back on those guns! Kalak yelled, turning back to continue using his own weapon as his men heeded him a moment later. Meanwhile, the skull plopped itself down protectively over the input panel, and Farnes, who had frozen in place as this all happened, jumped with a start and lowered his leg back down to the pedals hastily. Sorry, I didn't mean it, he told the skull. It ignored him, settling itself over the panel and locking itself in place with several pincer-like claws. All the while, wires and mechadendrites slithered out from around the neck of the skull, finding various inputs around the panel and causing its obscured string to go blank. Farnes jumped for a second time as the engines of the Chimera roared to life beneath him,
Yeah.
and his squad gave a beleaguered cheer. He hesitated for only a moment before reaching to the lever next to him and jerking it into proper gear, the machine cranking and thunking in response.
Good job, Steve. You're a real
Messiah,
one.
forgive me, he said as the Auspex displays blossomed to life around him. But I'm taking credit for that. He stomped on the accelerator and grit his teeth as the already smoking vehicle lurched forward in a sudden rush, almost kicking from the ground as it tore onto the base's main road. The base in question was a mess of fighting and chaos, but the Imperium was definitely on the defense, and a receding one at that. Farnes felt cold sweat sting his eyes. Where was he even supposed to go?
Turn
Just
left
go.
at the next intersection.
Said the servo skull, speaking in an
Steve, how do I navigate me to the nearest Taco Bell? Yeah. In 500 feet, turn left. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's wonderful. Stop laughing at Steve. I think he's adorable. I think he's adorable.
oddly pleasant, synthesized voice. Farnes marveled at the skull before reorienting on the road, hauling the wheel sharply as he came up on the intersection. "Left turn it is, then!" he yelled to his navigator. The Chimera swung,
Spin that
almost
wheel.
tilting up to one side as it made the maneuver, narrowly avoiding 3 chasing missiles from heavier troops who had noticed the APC's frantic escape attempt. 3, but not the 4th. The Chimera
no.
was kicked hard enough to nearly topple over itself,
Oh.
skidding across the pavement like an ice hawk disc. For a moment, Farnes feared they would be sent flying over the edge of the platform, doomed to fall for nearly 10 minutes before hitting the lower levels of the hive. But his frantic efforts bore fruit, as the Chimera's tracks finally touched down for long enough to give him traction.
Keep right at the next bend.
Said the Servo Skull. "That's not going to be easy!" Farnes shouted at it as he spun the wheel. Meanwhile, in the back of the Chimera's cabin, Calac, Janice, and Granger were busy dealing with the new 6-foot gash the rocket had created in their vehicle. The burning APC was already starting to peel sheets of its own armor from the persistent cascade
Yikes.
of blaster fire which assailed it. The inside of the cabin becoming swelteringly hot as the hull redistributed the plasmic heat of the enemy weapons. With this latest wound, the clones could now bypass the failing armor completely, and several were attempting just that, lobbing grenades and hails of blaster fire into the breach. Gala's strafing lines of death kept them from getting too comfortable or accurate, but even so, it was all the other 3 could do to cluster near the mouth of the breach and fend off their attackers.
Oh my gosh,
tossing
they're trying
back
to
grenades
field
and
a
returning
grenade.
fire. Back in the driver's seat, Farnes was crushing the accelerator pedal into the floor of the Chimera, knuckles white on the wheel as he came to gradually realize that, instead of driving out of the besieged base, he was being directed further in.
Make a left turn at the next intersection, and your destination will be directly ahead.
What's the
Said
destination?
the skeletal navigator. "Burning throne, you better be sure about this!" he yelled as he hauled on the wheel, skidding the Chimera to one side and almost flipping the APC altogether as he made the final bend. Before him, Farnes could see only a distant but rapidly approaching dead end in the form of a massive red wall, the wall of a Mechanica shrine or temple of some sort. The building
Okay.
had 4 sides, a flat top, and it tapered almost pyramid-like near the top. Upon it was the half-bone, half-mechanical skull that was the symbol of the Church of the Machine God, and all over its pitted red hull were fires and flaws born from the battle raging around them.
Increase speed. You are
Yeah.
now on the fastest route to your destination.
What? Wait! You know that we're not trying to die, right? Farnes said, foot still glued
They will
to the
catch you,
accelerator.
do not worry.
Acknowledged. Maintain course. You are now on the fastest route to your destination.
I love this.
The
This
young
is
guardsman
wonderful.
grit his teeth until he was sure they would crack. His hands were freezing, his guts were dancing in his body, his fears surging in him like a current of weakness which struggled to break him from the inside. His faith flailed against it, but it was proving less and less effective as the temple's walls grew closer and closer.
Yeah.
He wanted to close his eyes, but knew doing so would be the same as diverting his path. "Can I slow down now?" he yelled.
Negative.
Negative. Maintain course. You are on the fastest route to your destination.
The wall was
Get 'em.
swallowing his vision now, so large in his view that he could see little else. "Don't close your eyes," he ordered himself. "Don't close your eyes! Don't close your eyes!"
Oh no! What happened?
Nerva released a silent howl of pain into the noosphere, finding herself isolated and alone. She wished she could jump out from her physical body and into the data currents of the noosphere itself to escape the certain death and failure which faced her now. But all she could do was mute the pain receptors in her left arm as the limb, both burnt and seizing from the blue energy bolt which had
ouch.
struck her, continued to convulse, tearing her muscles apart, both the mechanical and the organic. She managed to stay on her feet, spinning to face the clones who had caught up to her in the corridor. 3 of them were charging down towards her, blasting all the while. 2 more blue shots sailed past before she was able to orient her Formaster's eradication ray gun down the hallway with her remaining arm.
Nice.
The shot was imprecise, but it barely needed precision. The satellite dish which served as the nozzle of the weapon erupting in a cascade of orange and red light. The light seemed like any other, save that it reddened the walls where it touched steel, and it shone straight through the clones, first blackening their armor before
Nice.
blowing them
Good
away
deal.
silently like collapsing ash sculptures struck by a persistent breeze. Nerva sighed and sagged under its weight, groaning aloud at the sound of the weapon's warning chime. She had no idea if that was serious or merely the incessant mewling of the gun's grieving machine spirit. She hoped, for her sake, that it was the latter. Hefting the gun and finding that her now numb and useless left arm was finally settling down, its flailing now reduced to errant twitching, she continued her journey into the central bay. It wasn't long before the hallway she was traversing led out into a wide, open area. At a glance, she could see that it had not been spared, flames and damage apparent in the walls and ceiling. But, to her relief, she saw that the ultra-lift platforms used to bring this super heavy vehicles up from the below-ground maintenance shrines were still visibly intact. Less pleasingly, she could also see that the room and lifts had been secured by no less than 8 of the enemy replique soldiers. Nerva firmed her lips, hefting her gun to aim at the clones, even as the 2 seemed to notice her, signaling in her direction towards the others. This time, she fired first, but instead of unleashing another devastating torrent of deadly light, the weapon released another chime. Nerva blinked and pulled the trigger again, eliciting another useless chime.
Oh,
the
that's not
weapons
good.
of her enemies, however, were far less musical and far more lethal. She screamed her all-too-human panic into the silence of the noosphere as she tossed the useless weapon aside and dove behind a large block of stacked crates.
Oh, this is
She
bad.
briefly considered reconnecting the nerves to her left arm, but dismissed the idea almost instantly. The last thing she needed right now was to be flooded with agony, even if it meant the loss of her arm. Nerva knew she needed her mind much more, and needed it as unclouded as possible to accomplish her goals. Those goals currently were mostly about survival, which was proving less and less likely with every passing moment. She had only a single deployable monoblade left, a 10-inch length which she could protrude from the centermost knuckle of her right hand.
Oh, but
she
that
looked
means
at it then, deploying
they have to
the
get in
black
close, and
steel,
that's gonna be hard to
almost
do that.
laughing at how pathetically inadequate the weapon was for her current situation. And yet, she had not the means to create or produce anything better, and so, with lethal resignation, she began to crouch, preparing to advance. Just then, 3 of the clones appeared, running around her cover and surrounding her, guns out.
Oh, well.
She felt her whole body become as cold as steel. She didn't even try to rise as the clones began to pull the triggers on their blaster rifles. That was that then. As soon as this new resignation settled over her, it was shattered, along with the wall beside her, with a bone-shattering crash. A chimera, burning and coming apart, burst through the metal wall in a spray of metal and bolt shells, firing even as it careened into the
You have arrived at your destination.
The vehicle swiveled and spun, terminating its erratic journey when it crashed into a partially disassembled Lumen Rust battle tank. The remaining clones reacted quickly, but most of them were not quick enough. The death-spitting turret at the top of the burning vehicle spinning to face them, blowing troopers apart with sustained fire and driving those that remained into the hallways for cover. Nerva felt almost weak, numbing more and more of her emotion and nerve receptors. Now was no time to gawk or even praise her luck, a point that was driven home as several more clones began flying into the building, carried aloft by their jetpacks.
Rattle 'em,
These
boys.
two were countered, however, as the back of the Chimera fell open and a squad of 4 Imperial soldiers charged out, one of them bearing an unconscious comrade over one broad shoulder. They opened fire into the breach, striking the clones there and forcing them back. As they did, a familiar skull, Bofin 337, came zipping out after them, heading straight towards her. In an instant, Nerva understood that her salvation had not come from sheer chaotic chance, and, despite herself, allowed a display of human affection as the skull approached her.
Yeah!
Smiling in spite of her condition, she wrapped her working arm around the servitor and pulled it close. "Bless you, Bofin. You're a seraph of the machine god himself," she prayed.
Yeah! Chat, hug your servo skull today. Hug your local servo skull. Give them love and affection, because they could just save your life.
Speaking her thoughts to the skull over their new spheric connection. The device sent back several purrs and chirps of approval, recognizing its task as complete.
Okay, that is so cute, though. Ah! That is so cute. I can't. That's too cute!
She had only a moment more before a grizzled, sweating sergeant stomped up to where she was kneeling. He hefted a smoking las rifle, its barrel glowing and stinking of ozone. The man's eyes were bloodshot, and Bofin's auspic scans showed that he had a dangerously low amount of melatonin in his body, though his cortisol levels were abnormally high, even for the situation. The man looked down at her with an unkind grin. "Well, Tech Priest, I'm guessing you called for help."
Maybe. Whoa, that... A long section of talking. Ba, 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 ba. Do I hug Steve enough? I do, actually. I have a stuffed version. I have a Steve that I cuddle with at night. It's adorable. I love him. I love him. He's great. I'm gonna get a do really fast. I want another one because today is a day of celebration. Can you hug him now? No, he's not in the room with me. But I will hug the servo skull keychain. I put my hand around him. Steve body pillow when? It's more like he would be a throw pillow if we're being perfectly honest. Throw pillow? Okay, hang on. I'm gonna go get about due because I'm tired. I'm tired. I've felt so many emotions today. I'm gonna get a drink. Be right back. You throw him at the tech problems? No. I have the utmost respect for Steve. Utmost respect. Real Steve is probably jealous with stuff, Steve. No, he's not. Okay. We continue. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah. Bum, 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 bum. Good music.
Shakti felt her brow furrow as a bizarre emotion began to trickle into her mind. She had trained within many of the Jedi temples across the galaxy, had faced foes both mundane and touched by the Force who had made swordsmanship their life's pursuit, honing their bodies into variable weapons of defense and death. In such times, she would rarely feel sensations like this, and most commonly, the opponent who prompted it was sensitive to the greater powers of the universe.
Nope.
And yet, despite the Imperial before her being unable to use the Force, despite her...
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sisters of Battle are about as, like, sensitive as a brick going through a window. Like, those ladies? No. Yeah.
being a mad, frenzied storm of a being fueled by fear and faith in equal measure.
Like a brick.
And despite Shakti's own disdain for her, she could not help but feel it again. Appreciation and even grim admiration mingled with more than a little frustration, fomenting a novel, if troubling, series of sensations within her. The Jedi wove to the left, living 2 steps within the future of the fight, the blistering engine of the micro-missile fired from the female warrior's pistol sailing past Shakti's face. The crazed woman was right behind the shot, rearing her maul in a suicidally direct attack as she pitched her pistol forward, the weapon now empty, Shakti suspected. The Jedi Master speared toward her opponent's heart,
but she's already pulling
to drive
it
through the distraction and lands the sister through her chest. Her blade pierced the thrown handgun, already angling to make the decisive strike and end Rajulia's desperate bid. Rajulia, for her part, did not flinch even as she recognized what was about to happen.
Because she's pulling the pin.
Shakti felt a great conflict stir within her, one she had not expected to face. It was not just that well-worn sensation of facing off against another being who had bent themselves to a singular task with mastery and focus. Not just the feeling of pitting her skills against those of a fearsome and inordinately talented fighter. This woman, the Sister of Battle, did not reek of the selfishness that so often pervaded the enemies which Shakti did battle with. She rarely encountered the purely evil, but this was much more than a matter of mere nuance. The sister was selfless, utterly selfless. Shakti could feel it. So many thoughts and emotions whirling around the warrior, and yet not a one was concerned with her own well-being. She had, Shakti realized, consigned herself to death long before arriving here. No, the Jedi understood in the last moment as her saber drove through and melted the hand cannon that was to cover Rajulia's last charge. Martyrdom. This woman had resigned herself to martyrdom, and not for glory or for power, but for faith, for survival. It was as the Jedi Master realized this that the gun exploded in the air before her, scattering shrapnel and fire in all directions, and into Shakti herself. She was blinded, deafened, thrown from her balance, and would have been left utterly helpless. But the Force was with her. Shakti swayed her body to the left and then to the right, moving like a stumbling, flickering flame.
Slide to the left. Slide to the right. Crisscross. Take it back now, y'all.
Through the smoke and fire, half blind herself, small bits of metal cutting and drawing bloody lines and furrows on the unshielded skin of her face. She screamed as the Jedi backtracked, swinging with her maul, the weapon humming as its power field abused the molecules in the air between them. The sound made Shaak Ti's Montrals feel like bursting as the weapon waved dangerously close to the stumbling warrior's head, then chest. But like a soap bubble, the Jedi slipped and floated past the power maul's reach each time, leaping back to gain distance, the Force guiding her landing. She rose, almost smirking at the sound of Virgilia's impotent rage, but grimaced instead as sudden pain cascaded down her form, now feeling the bits of the gun embedded within her.
Yeah.
Blood slicked her robes.
That's
and in
gonna
that
hurt.
instant, she realized that the Imperial had left one explosive shot in her pistol, luring the Jedi to thrust through it, detonating the round within. The
Smart.
Master grit her teeth. It was some perverse cosmic irony that the shot the blasted fanatic hadn't fired had been the only one to reach her. Smoothly stepping over the cables, the Jedi remained calm, avoiding the swipes of her foe as the smoke cleared and Rejulia became more precise. Shaak Ti's sight also began to return, recovering from the flash more and more with every passing second. "A clever last gambit, but it is spent!" Shaak Ti yelled in an
Is
attempt to
it, though?
dissuade the Imperial, but to no avail.
Oh.
Rejulia flashed a nasty grin, yanking a frag grenade from her belt with her
Yeah,
free-
there it is. Also, like, the force that you need to pull a grenade pin. It's let's just say doing it with your teeth, you would jack up your teeth. Although it is a very cool piece of art, I will say.
free hand, popping the pin with the thumb of her powered gauntlet and hurling it at the Jedi. Shaak Ti extended her own hand in response, reaching out and seizing the explosive from the air with a net of concentrated strands of pure force. With a flick of her wrist and mind, the Master sent the lethal grenade sailing out of one of the squat windows.
No!
Rejulia had never stopped, however, bellowing hymns of hatred as she pressed the attack again. Shaak Ti held her saber easily with her other hand, deflecting and dodging
I'm
the next
sorry.
three swipe.
Hang on, I'm sorry. I would let her shoot me. I mean, better that than you becoming a heretic, so I guess I'll allow it. I'll allow it, just this once.
At the Sister Palatine's sinister weapon, forced back, but little more. The Imperial grunted, sweat flying from her hair as she twisted and lashed out, aiming to catch the Jedi's leg. Yet the Togruta was a master duelist, and the environment favored her far too much, stepping out of the way with precognitive ease, kicking the sister in the face with the same leg. Rejulia could take 100 more strikes and never land a single one, but Shaak Ti would not give her 100 more. As the sister reeled, the Jedi Master drove in, feet light as feathers in spite of her wounds, ducking under another sweep as Rejulia covered her sudden withdrawal. The Jedi made a full turn, bending with inhuman grace to dodge the backswing of the sister's attack, and using the Force to propel her forward, ceasing her spin and finishing it. Rejulia growled blood, a sound utterly composed of vicious pain and rage, but could do little as the blue blade of the Jedi she faced burst from her back.
You still have one more
Shaak
grenade,
Ti held
and she's
her
in
blade
close
steady
range.
within the Imperial's chest, expecting the sister to fall and slice herself in half with the movement. Rejulia held firm enough to avoid that humiliation, even as trails of red began to drip from her nose and color her unpainted lips. The power maul pulsed as it hit the ground, bouncing once before coming to rest on the cracked pavement of the bunker floor. Shaak Ti could feel the woman's powered gauntlet, now empty, clasp her shoulder, the hand exerting a crushing pressure which the Jedi fended off with a sheath of the Force. Still, as Rejulia's legs gave out, Shaak Ti was borne down to a crouch as well. The woman tried to speak, but a gout of blood spilled crimson from her lips in place of any words.
Get ready.
Shakti's blade had punctured both her lungs, angled as such. The sister had already spoken her final words, her eyes already losing their focus, and with a small twist of her wrist, Shakti severed her spine, and Rejulia's grip on her shoulder slackened. As the Jedi began to pull away from the defeated, dying Imperial priestess, Shakti wished that this could be the last assassination she would need to carry out. But she planned to be as thorough as possible. They needed to assure a victory here above all else. She jerked then, as the sister's grip returned, this time on Shakti's wrist, her blade only half withdrawn. The fanatic was holding it in place.
Discipline and devotion never falter.
The woman managed to choke past the blood streaming from her mouth. Shakti felt a cold shock run up her spine and jerked her hand, but was held firmly in place.
She's made of
tighter than
stern
before.
stuff.
I am his servant.
The sister gasped, raising her free hand, her fist clenched around another grenade, a circular one.
Yep.
Shakti tried to rise again, to pull herself off this dying maniac. But the sister clutched her tightly, punching the Jedi in the stomach with the grenade-bearing fist and driving the air out of Shakti's lungs, nearly breaking her ribs.
Get him.
An instant later, an activation chime sounded from the bomb. The Jedi furrowed her brows, gritting her teeth in sudden frustration. The woman was still fighting. This was becoming ridiculous. The Jedi Master summoned forth the Force once more and shoved her free palm against the sister's armored chest, issuing forth a column of the Force strong enough to blow away an entire front line.
Oh, dang.
The pressure produced was easily sufficient to shove the dying sister through the wall of the command bunker like a human bolt round. And yet, Rejulia's hair did not even wave in response to it. Instead, Shakti felt her heart skip a beat, felt her body chill completely, frozen by the sudden touch of fear as a golden light seemed to radiate out from the sister before her. The Jedi Master felt her power, the power of the Force, throw itself against the Imperial, and yet she hit something altogether different. Something vast and old and wise. Something shining and terrible, burning and writhing in fires that screamed like the legions of the damned. Suddenly, Shakti was not in the grasp of a dying, desperate warrior. Without any understanding of what she was bearing witness to, the Jedi looked up and saw not the furious, blood-streaked face of Sister Rejulia staring back, but in its place, the serene, ravaged image of a human skull wreathed in blinding flame in place of cascading hair. Shakti released her saber, deactivating it, and opened both hands as the Force began to flow through her like never before. She pushed with all her might, crying out, Togrutan fangs extending as she poured all of herself into the attempt. In response, the skull stared straight into her and spoke 3 words in the sister's voice. I deny you.
Oh, I got chills. Oh, I got chills. Oh my gosh. Wow.
He had only arrived minutes ago, but upon hearing what the sisters had discovered, he had wasted no time. Shadrick had to see it with his own eyes, and when he did, the sight did not disappoint him. Laying there, half buried in rubble and lit by the dimming light of the shrouding sun, was his erstwhile nemesis, Sister Palatine Rejulia herself. She was dead, her left arm, shoulder, and chest obliterated by an explosion that must have gone off in her hand. She lay sprawled, evidently thrown back before the bunker half collapsed, her face completely covered in her own blood, her expression an empty, impassive glare, as if staring in flaccid disappointment at the sky above them. His gaze moved from her shattered body to the even less intact remains of the enemy she had been fighting.
Yeah!
Whoever this foe had been, they certainly had not been blessed with the benefit of powered armor, and little remained. A red arm here, a strange, bloody tentacle there.
Yikes.
For all the trouble
sorry,
that
Shock
Julia had
T.
caused him during her dogging of his career, Shadrick was well pleased that she had found a way to die as a loyal Imperial, wretched
Yikes.
upstart that she was. The Commissar Captain straightened his cap and turned away, barely managing to mask his triumph as mild disgust. Awaiting him was an attendant, a sister of the temple, though a logistical aide, not a battle sister. Her last act was to field promote Sergeant Lazarus and send him and the local garrison to intercept the artillery barrage assaulting the temple, she said to him, half reading from a report clutched in her hands. He kept his face still and unreadable, defying the nearly overwhelming urge to bare his teeth in a display of his displeasure. Even in her last act, the woman had dared defy the order of things, giving commands and field promotions to guardsmen before even verifying the loss of the command chain. The nerve of the insubordinate dead bitch still amazed him. But all that was before we knew how well positioned they are. The sister continued, without any support, Force Lazarus will suffer terrible casualties just on the approach. Should we send a missive to recall them? She asked. Again, Commissar Captain Shadrick had to hold his expression still deliberately, though this time for the opposite reason, stiffening his features to prevent the hideous grin he now felt trying to manifest onto his face. Rajulia had never been a competent tactician, and, true to her flaw, she had acted rashly, expecting men like Shadrick to clean up her mess afterwards. Not this time. No, he said, shocking the sister before him. But sir, she began. This was Rajulia's last order. Her last decision of command. I will honor it. He said,
okay, you're a
squaring his
butthole.
jaw and straightening his jacket.
Butthole.
The sister seemed placated by that, taking the wrong meaning from his deceptive words. Oh, how he wished she could see this now. How he hoped her shade yet lingered to watch in mute fury as the man she had declared a heretic, the man who had narrowly avoided her noose so many times, now gave orders under proper authority to her own naive sisters. Very well, Commissar.
Excuse me? Why are you like this?
What support should we send to aid them? She asked. He felt his eyebrow twitch. These sororitas were always so outspoken, only ever truly respecting those within their own.
He's a shut up woman kind of guy. He's like, so outspoken. How dare you? That's probably not what it is, but that's the impression I got from like only like a couple lines of like his thought process. Yeah, you're not supposed to like him. I can tell.
Faith structure. Speaking and following the heart was such a pretty set of sentiments, but they belonged nowhere near the battlefield. None, he said. This time, the woman openly balked, mouth dropping open. But why? She asked. He felt a muscle in his jaw jerk involuntarily.
Sir, I think you
Had
need
she
therapy.
been under his jurisdiction, a guardsman. He cleared his throat.
Okay.
Rajulia has left us with little enough to defend against the incoming assault as it is, and we cannot trust that what is left to Force Lazarus will be enough after they carry out their mission, if they even can. Radio the following bases. Pristine judgment and indifference. Have them pull up and send all of their forces to us as quickly as they can manage. They should arrive in time to help us hold against the
Wow.
enemy. The sister shook her head and then nodded, tapping and scribbling away at the data slate she cradled in one arm.
The order has been sent. I'm sorry, but I must speak my mind. This is madness, Commissar. Force Lazarus has some of our best specialist forces within it.
I couldn't. I'm sorry. I'm sure she brings up a good point, but I could not listen to her the way she's talking. She gives me, like, actually. Like, she's like, actually. That's what it sounds like, and I'm like, I can't. I'm sorry, ma'am. I can't take you seriously when you say it like that. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh.
Soldiers of Cadia, Bogrin shock troops, Calambian patriots, Death Corpsmen.
Perhaps you should have advised Rejulia on these facts as well, before she became set on promoting some random sergeant and sending them out to their deaths. Now, cease your questioning, or I will find another to perform your duties in your place, snapped the Commissar. The sister took a step back and nodded, cowed by the sudden fury in the Commissar Captain's words. He restrained his smile. Shadrick could understand why this one had not made the cut for the front line. Yet he could still see that spark of defiance in her, and sighed, knowing that making more enemies so soon after losing one would make little sense, at least for now. If they accomplish their objective, then and only then, we will offer them full support for their extraction.
What?
He conceded, and again suppressed a
What?
smile as he saw her untense at that meaningless caveat. Rejulia's legacy would be the blood of heroes and martyrs. His career, however, would be built on their corpses. He would rescue this operation, and rise as a result, seen no longer as a mere Commissar Captain, but a Lord Commissar as well. Soon.
Okay, you... I have issues with a lot of this. Stupid. I don't like him. I have to go to the We're gonna keep wait, I have to go to the bathroom again. I've been having all this water because I've been talking and the Mountain Dew. Oh my gosh. And it's so quick. Office politics are the worst, yes. Yes, indeed. Okay. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm very good at drinking too much Mountain Dew. But it's okay. It's okay. I'll be right back. It won't take me long. I have returned. Hi, you're new here? Welcome, Ferret Man. Welcome, welcome. We are watching we are watching Star Wars versus Warhammer 40k, which has been very great. Very fun. I have a blast every time we watch this. Have I rewatched any of the episodes where Fan does more lore drops or explanations for the story? Thank you for the bits, Dino Fan. I have not, I don't have the time to go through it all. I probably could, but I would rather listen to like more Warhammer stories that I haven't read yet. Like, I have more books I haven't read. So I'm like, oh man, I want to keep consuming Warhammer content. Not that these aren't interesting. I just haven't. I'm about to confess a sin. I've never had Mountain Dew. That is a sin. That is a sin. I don't know if you're going to be able to recover from that. All right, next episode. That's because Mountain Dew is bad for your everything. Shish, shish, heretic, heretic. Speaking such things about the Mountain Dew. Heresy. Heresy. There we go. Ew. I need the Obi-Wan fight in my life, please. I need to know what happens.
Master Ayla had never allowed herself to go this far.
She's
She
pretty.
swung to the left, saber drawing streaking lines of blue in the air. The luminous weapon took the lives of 3 men, melting straight through the whirring chainsword, the first of them raised in defense. His face was a mask of frenzy and disbelief as he was neatly bisected despite the integrity of his parry. The bladed chain of the weapon went whipping out wildly, cutting the man's face and red cap in half, while Ayla smoothly spun to the left, evading the bits that came flying out at her. She twisted in the air, carried farther than was natural on winds pulled into reality by the power of the Force, and landed in a neat crouch nearby, sweeping her saber back to the right in the process, taking the heads of 2 more Imperial soldiers as she landed. The Jedi Master thrust her free hand out, pushing the headless bodies forward into a cluster of nearby soldiers who were preparing to volley fire into her. They only managed a few sloppy shots before the corpses landed nearby, the glowing blue coils of their guns flaring to life in a horrible display of screaming and death. Composed of blue fire and terrible force, the Imperial soldiers were eradicated by their own unstable weapons, though, oddly, the guns themselves seemed more or less intact afterwards. Ayla had rarely fought with this much lethal skill, and never against living opponents. Only in combat with droids did she do what she was doing now, allowing violence, passionless and pure, to flow through her. She took every opening, rode every lethal current which came to her, and struck at every foe with the intention to kill. What conscious thought she maintained was focused almost entirely on making sure she did not commit to anything too suicidal, holding herself back from accidentally performing any acts so lethal they would take her life as well as the lives of her enemies.
What?
This could
Rookie.
be hard for her to do, as
Absolute
it had been
rookie.
in the past, and yet, frankly, it wasn't. Not there, not then. Everything was in sync within her, and Ayla felt honed like never before, subsumed by neither compassion nor hatred, as she remembered the teachings of her own master and embraced the recklessness which had enabled him to learn Vapad. Though she would not manage to match his own lethal skill on just this rush alone, she was certainly closer than she ever had been. The knowledge was not comforting. All around her was the massive main avenue, her advancing army grinding its way forward at her back, the Imperial menace attempting to impede them at her front. They were desperately trying to halt or slow her forces by any means, forming pockets and bulwarks and using all manner of varied weapons and tactics. Most of these defenses and attempts were pulverized by her artillery support, and when they finally had the good sense to hide in the shadows of the spires, the imps were handed off to her elite vanguard and, of course, the Jedi Master herself. At this rate, they would come within sight of the Imperial Temple in little over 12 minutes. Perhaps sooner if nothing unexpected reared itself up before her advance.
I bet it will.
Ayla was not happy nor sad about her progress. She was simply satisfied. The Imperials had to be stopped, and they were being stopped. General, Sith Trio hold up dead ahead. They've already incinerated Auric's squad. Commander Husk and what's left of his men are either being evac'd or ID'd as we speak. I'm holding my squad back for now, scouting for a less lethal approach to the targets. Ayla's alien brain brought the name of the commander to her lips without so much as a conscious twitch, easily able to remember every last one of the clones under her command.
Oh, that's
Good
cool.
thinking, Captain Graves. Keep out of their reach until I get there. I'll clear them out myself. She radioed back through the comm pin she had placed in her vest. Already, Ayla was orienting, reaching out with her senses and quickly locating the Imperial force wielders which Graves had indicated. They bent the Force in ways she had never conceived of, making the very fabric of it warp and moan in odd, destructive forms. She followed that foreboding wail, feet kicking with heightened speed and strength as she crossed the battlefield like a speeder. Are you sure you don't want us to cover your approach, General? We can
She
be next
is
to you in seconds if you ping us.
speedy.
Graves sent back. Ayla allowed herself a grim smirk. These will be the 5th, 6th, and 7th Imperial Sith I killed today, Captain. I think I figured them out. She
5th,
said.
6th, and 7th?
Roger that, General. We'll be on standby to advance after you're done. Oh, and General, said Captain Graves.
Be safe out there.
Yes, Captain. Don't be a stranger. You Jedi can't always pick up all the slack, and we Commandos make house calls. Graves said, some humor forcing itself through his normally grim demeanor. Ayla smiled somewhat. She knew that his effort was the direct result of her own lack of humor, her own grimness. On Graves, it was almost endearing,
The grim dark
especially
is
when one
contagious.
got to know him. On Ayla, it was a sign that something was wrong, very wrong. She made it a point to seem a little less absorbed in her task, to avoid affecting the morale of her troops. Noted, Graves. Stay ready to cover me if I call. She said. The Jedi leapt the remains of a crashed Imperial gunship, landing atop its nearly skyward pointing tail, and from there, seeing the 3 Graves had spoken of. Bent and ravaged by their bizarre techniques, all but one of the 3 were blinded, and wore blood-streaked rags over their empty sockets. Chains rattled and clinked from where they hung, affixed cruelly to hand and ankle, yet hanging free. They were all bald and emaciated, so thin and hairless as to seem sexless,
Is that
leaving
Malkinor?
Ayla utterly uncertain as to whether she faced a coven of robed crones or a trio of 3 wailing male sorcerers. Even their voices were distorted, rising and falling in pitch as
Interesting.
they cast their power out in reckless waves of fiery destruction. The 3 held aloft staves which ended in torch-like heads, objects of focus for their flames.
I was like, that I think that's Malchazor art because of his staff. Oh, Jonah, thank you for the super chat. V-pad is a lightsaber form, or are you saying is that 6? That 6 pad? The lightsaber form that Windu invented to use the dark side power in the opponent and makes it yours, supposedly without affecting you. Interesting, huh? And also the Twi'leks are supposed to be French? Oh, oui, oui. I'm sorry, but that's funny. They're French. Oh no. Oh no, not the French.
All around them, in wide cones and arches, were the sprawled, burned remains of hundreds of the vanguard forces. The sight of the scorched dead reminded her of her purpose, and the Jedi Master breathed out the emotions building within her, becoming as cool as the color of her skin as she honed herself for battle once more. The very act.
I'm sorry. Becoming as cool as the color of her skin. I'm like, yeah, she's blue. I don't know, I just thought the phrasing was funny. It's a funny phrase.
Act of preparation seemed to draw the attention of all three of the Imperial force wielders, and they raised their staves into the air, screaming out wordless chants of hell and flame. In response, the torches on the ends of their focus staves flared bright. Ayla could feel the wave of their intentions reach her far before any actual heat or flames were birthed into reality. The Jedi's body tensed, coiling as she breathed the force into her muscles and joints, strengthening and propelling them to enable her speed to defy all logic.
Gotta go fast.
It was by this speed that she evaded the balls of flame which exploded in her wake, not thrown, but spontaneously generated into existence in places she had been only moments before. She could feel them reaching out for her with their senses, fumbling to catch the cartwheeling form of the Jedi Master as she leapt and evaded another explosion, and then another, drawing nearer and nearer as she approached in an unpredictable zigzag. One reached out with a gnarled, filthy hand, clutching at the air as if to grasp something from on high, while another bent low, pressing their forehead against the steel ground, appearing to enter a state of supplication or
Interesting.
prayer. Ayla felt the ground begin to heat beneath her feet as the air started to hum, as if she had just entered into the mouth of a massive microwave. Spotting the wreckage of a nearby chimera and the impact crater of a massive shell which had left a deep hole in the avenue, Ayla acted without thought or planning. Her movements and choices a flow of precognitive judgments made more by the Force than by her own thinking mind. She rode those currents, but barely controlled them. Extending her hand, she ran on, heading towards the APC, seeing that its back-facing troop hatch was wide open and facing her. She sprinted hard towards it, no longer angling for the Imperials, feeling small blisters and burns already beginning to form across her body, the disfigured touch of their technique bleeding into reality. Ayla had only seconds more, leaping the crater instead of taking cover within it, her back now to the three as she sunk all her effort into this final plan. Exertion played plainly across the face of the Jedi Master as she pulled her extended hand back towards her chest, closing it into a fist as she did. The Chimera lurched and then flew forward, suddenly pulled free of its own wreckage as if yanked by thousands of elastic ropes. She leapt up, spinning around to face the sorcerers once more as the open maw of the Chimera came flying after her, the Jedi pulling in her arms and legs just as it snatched her out from the air. The arcing trajectory of the flying vehicle husk guided the wreck straight towards her three opponents. But she was hardly done, and neither were they. Maws of flame opened above and below the Chimera, dousing it in fire from both directions as it hurtled closer to the three. The two Imperial Force wielders who had been attacking focused, moving their upward and downward facing columns of flames at pace with the nearing form of the burning Chimera. But even they could sense that they would not manage to destroy it that way, despite being wholly focused on the flying vehicle. This was where the third stepped in, mumbling and babbling obscene words of fire, tongue literally alight. The chained Imperial cupped hands around their burning mouth, and as the Chimera seemed to be about to fly into and crush the three of them, the third, sighted Imperial screamed, issuing forth much more than sound with the effort. A wide jet of superheated warp matter blew out of their mouth in an intense
sick.
cone of thermal obliteration. The Chimera was caught in its entirety, and where it had managed to retain most of its shape and structure under the bathing torrents of flame prior, its armor was revealed to be worthless against the new attack. Its body was warped, utterly shredded into glowing slag by the Melta-style blast of heat which the Imperial was screaming into existence. The Chimera's momentum was sapped by the blast almost instantly, and it landed heavily, leaving a glowing smear of ceramite and metal as it came to a grinding halt, now less than a quarter of its original size.
Wow.
It was so destroyed, in fact, that none of the three Imperials had been able to see or define the perfectly cut circular hole in the away-facing position of the Chimera, which had been made there by Master Ayla almost the instant she had entered the Chimera proper, having always intended it as a distraction and little else. The two sorcerers who had failed to kill her smiled and laid their hands appreciatively upon the back of the third, who was busy rubbing their burnt lips and spitting out molten fragments of their own teeth. The third smiled in spite of the pain, having no idea that Ayla had not perished within the craft, but had instead cut her way out of the flying APC just as it had passed over the deep crater she had considered using for cover. They discovered this a second or so later, when Ayla's saber burst from the ground beneath them, skewering and slicing away their feet as it spun. The three mutilated Force wielders were blown away as she used the Force to push the circle of steel above her directly up and out, jumping up a moment later herself. Around Ayla lay the writhing, cursing forms of the three, and she wasted no time, jumping into the first and decapitating the Imperial without mercy. She did the same to the second, and intended to do the same to the third, but once more, the sighted third found the strength to act, glaring through bloodshot eyes as power filled them completely, opening a mouth full of flattened, burnt teeth. The sorcerer repeated the same technique which had been used to destroy the Chimera, firing it directly into her. It was instant death, or rather, it would have been, but Ayla had figured them out, found their weakness, and had no shame in exploiting it fully. These Imperial Force wielders hated and feared the very force which they used, which flowed through them. She was hesitant to call them Sith, because even the...
Yeah, because... Well, I mean, technically they could go a little harder because chaos isn't over here, but technically that's just been the habit for so long. Oh well.
Sith, hateful as they were, did not treat the Force as a serpent, a venomous beast which they sought to use whilst avoiding its fangs themselves. Yes, their techniques were powerful indeed, with a level of brute application Ayla had never seen and could not replicate. But she danced and moved with the Force, making it and herself as one, and did not fear it or hate it as they did. Her grasp of this power was pure, trained, and unclouded, and so, for her, it was only a matter of effort to do what she did next. Reaching down with the Force, Ayla found her opponent, specifically the grip they had on the fabric of the Force, and with a gentleness which bordered on kindness, seized the metaphorical wrist of the sorcerer attempting to exert their influence, and broke it. It was like breaking straw, and in place of burning gouts of superheated death, the sorcerer beneath her, who was glaring death into her, burped up a shallow draft of warm air and died less than a second later as Ayla neatly snipped off their head. Her rebuke had been trained to be used against the likes of Tempris and Savage, Sith acolytes who embraced the Force and the dark side of it wholly. Compared to that level of dedication,
Interesting.
this act was easy. And several times she had sensed a strange elation from the Imperial she was killing, as if they were grateful to have died, without being fully connected to the Force. The revelation reminded her in no uncertain terms that the perversions and distortions of this empire were truly without end. Ayla was about to call her troopers forward when, without warning, she sensed something and froze. It was just a subtle, soft brush against her senses, a tickle, perhaps.
Did she feel
even
shocked
an
he died?
illusion. But even so, it had, for a brief moment, turned her blood to ice. It had been the dark side, pure, unrestrained,
Ooh.
and black as the stretch between voids. Had it been an illusion? She was not sure, but not being sure was not good enough to ignore it. She signaled the vanguard forward, and then jumped back into the hole she had made, crouching as she found herself once more within the smoking maintenance crawl spaces of the colossal roadway. She used the Force to filter the air and moved swiftly, feet light as she crouched and ran at once. The Jedi moved back towards the crater she had used to reach these tunnels, and halfway to the breach she found a hatch that led further down. With a flick of her wrist, she forced it open and jumped through, eschewing the orange ladder left there for her descent. Beneath were some more maintenance access points, and then another hatch which led down into the first set of sub-roads beneath the main avenue, which were massive in their own right. The fighting was also occurring down here, though with less vehicles from both sides. She ignored the battle, moving around the combatants as she made her way lower and lower, following the memory of the sense, the echo it left in her, an echo she was more and more certain had been real and not imagined. She had studied the maps of her approach extensively, and her memory was excellent, so it was not long before she began to figure out where this presence had lingered. Security Center Delta Y, one of the many security monitoring rooms which had been used by the civilian government's law enforcement and emergency services before the invasion. She had suspected most would be abandoned by now, though it made sense that the enemy would select one as a command and control position. If they managed to slice their way past the city's security networks and defenses, then they'd have access to countless cameras and sensor devices scattered all across the ongoing battle. The realization only fueled her drive further. Whatever was being done there, it needed to be stopped. She reached the center entrance and found the doors locked and unresponsive. It was no matter. Her lightsaber granted her the access she lacked, and soon she was inside the small, vaguely dome-like security room. Her eyes, accustomed to the twilight of her homeworld, pierced the dimness with ease, and she saw standing before her 3 figures. But these 3 were not as the others had been, not at all. One was a many-limbed droid man, robed in red, its attention focused solely on a nearby console it seemed to be interfacing with. Not far was another robed form, though this one was hunched and contorted, clearly badly malformed beneath its tattered vestments of thick, brown sackcloth.
Okay, so we have a servitor.
And, standing before the 2 of them, facing away from her, was the tallest and most imposing of the trio. The robe which sheathed this figure was stark black and luxuriously thick.
That's
Golden
terrifying.
pins, medals, and chains coated its shoulders and sleeves,
Space
and the
Marine.
straight-backed posture of its wearer was completely at odds with the uncanny and crooked stances of the other 2. Ayla raised her saber. "Halt! This is your one chance. Surrender now. Drop your weapons,
Oh, no,
or you
girly.
will all die," she said. The Jedi Master was fully prepared for them to attack her, prepared to dodge back outside the room, prepared to cut her way back in from a different direction. What she was not prepared for was them, all of them, ignoring her utterly. She took another step forward.
How dare you?
"Now," she insisted. "I think she is serious, Master." said the hunched figure, its voice a gravelly cackle.
Oh.
It crawled a little closer, revealing its mangled arms and hands as it used them, ape-like, to approach. The skin all across its arms was coated in tattoos and
Girl,
scarred symbols, the sight of
better
which
run.
made Ayla sick for no discernible reason. Bones jutted like small horns or thorns from around its fingers and knuckles, and it bled from them, though no blood actually dripped off onto the floor, clinging unnaturally to the skin. She moved her saber to face it, but found no need to halt it. That was done by the upraised hand of the central figure, the motion revealing the being's hand and little else. Pale, flawless skin bore the many intricate and ornate rings of the Imperial's long-fingered thin hand. Yet despite their luster and quality, it was the black talon-like nails that tipped each digit which drew eyes the most. Ayla shivered at the sight, but held fast as the robed Imperial began to turn around to face her, moving slowly,
That
deliberately.
is not good.
So far as she could tell, none but the droid men were armed, and that red-robed abomination seemed fully occupied by whatever its task was. In spite of this, Ayla could not shake a deep sense of menace which was flooding into the room like a thickening miasma of toxic gas. "You will do nothing," said the turning man. "She and I will reckon. She and I alone." Ayla had had enough. She thrust her hand forward, issuing forth a column of the Force. The air thrummed with the energy of her attack, the concussive wave rolling out from her and colliding with the room and everything inside it. Walls shook, consoles exploded and broke, and the few windows that looked out onto the road burst and blew out. Ayla did not drop her guard for even a moment, fully expecting retaliation, but being surprised twice more instead. No retaliation came, which was unexpected. Yet what she found even more shocking was the state of her targets. The room looked nearly destroyed, save for everything near the three Imperials. Looking at the lines of dust on the floor, she could spot with her keen eyes the spherical border of protection which had blunted her own attack, and judged that the central figure among the three was the source. Another Force wielder. As the dust and detritus cleared out of the air, the Jedi Master was able to see that her push had not been entirely negated, succeeding in stirring and dropping the hood of her new opponent. The sight drew the breath out of her with an audible gasp. Was this man supposed to be human? His face was long, almost snouted, with a grin filled with filed, shark-like teeth, and rows of them at that. His eyes were pure black, like a doll's eyes, and his head was utterly hairless, revealing slightly pointed ears and a wide, too smooth scalp. And there was something more as well, a dark, pervading air of menace which was pouring out from the man like a gushing font. He finished turning, grinning his filed teeth at her.
That's
She
bad.
wasted little time, not even waiting for the man to complete his deliberate turn.
That's
dashing
bad.
forward, blue blade leading the way. The creature in the black robe suddenly picked up speed,
It's
becoming
Voldemort.
a blur as he broke and bent the
I'm
rules
kidding.
of time and space, reaching into the confines of his voyage-knitted robes and drawing forth a glimmering black rapier. Sparks shone along the umbral steel of the obsidian blade like stars in night's tapestry, glowing bright as it repelled Ayla's attacks.
Wait,
Forcing her back with a surprising
Dark
amount of
Saber?
strength as the Imperial thing drove in with its own offensive. The shadows in the room danced, backlighting flares of blue and white light as the two blades clashed and slid. Ayla spun, piercing through the future with sight beyond sight, becoming a blur of motion and grace. The Imperial creature matched her grace with a lethal waltz of his own, black robes trailing as the thin, deadly edge and point of his
This is not
power
gonna be
sword
good.
darted and swiped for
oh, there
her.
it is, power sword.
Several times, the Jedi had been sure she had finally caught him in a mortal exchange, only to find herself slowed or even sped up, fouling her timing and enabling her opponent to fight on.
Ooh.
She felt her teeth pressing against each other in growing frustration, warring to keep balance within herself. This man, this thing, was different from the other force wielders that the Imperials had been using. Perhaps a master of their orders, whatever form that took in their twisted empire. However the case may be, the beastly man before her was no novice when it came to close combat, and his method of using the Force was disturbingly novel and indirect. Instead of increasing his direct strength and speed, he was corrupting time and space to achieve similar ends. The tactic left Ayla off balance and struggling to keep up, feet backtracking as the Imperial advanced, forcing her cleanly out of the cramped room, back through the short hallway that led to it, and into the wide, spacious area of the abandoned transit center. "Enough!" she yelled. The Jedi Master exhaled a powerful 360-degree wave of raw force, managing to shove the dueling Imperial back. She then reached towards him with her free hand and did as she had done before, touching upon the Imperial with the Force itself and seeking the multitude of cracks and flaws she knew would be there.
I don't think you'll find any.
No matter how brave, disciplined, ambitious, or faithful, one could not wield the Force with true mastery while fearing it like these Imperials do. Ayla found her target easily enough and once more took the Imperial by the metaphorical wrist and twisted. But those same flaws, those which had been present to each Imperial servant up to this point, were not present here.
Yep.
His grip held steady,
This is coass.
firm, and once more he gave her that shark-toothed grin as he realized what she was attempting. Before she could recover from the surprise of her failure, he seized her as she had him, though instead of attempting to break her grip on the Force, he did something altogether different. Like the sudden thrust of an unexpected lance, he pierced her mental defenses, if only briefly, and touched her mind to his own. Ayla moved to her own protection immediately.
Oh no, are we gonna have like Chaos Jedi now? Oh no.
She was no stranger to mental trials or mind warfare, but she could not have prepared herself for what he assailed her with. Images, thoughts, sensations. Unlike every time before, this mental attack was not intended to rend her thoughts, steal her memories, or alter her perspectives or beliefs. Instead, the Imperial created a brand composed of memories, sensations, and experiences and pressed it hot and bare to the metaphorical flesh of her mind.
Yikes.
He was only able to keep purchase on her for seconds, almost less, but even that much time had been enough. Ayla's wide eyes reflected the trauma of her mind's vision. She had seen billions, untold billions, marching in forlorn trails, each step dragging screaming minds closer to their deaths. She had watched the sky fill with teeth, the entire expanse of space becoming stuffed, bursting with ravenous mouths and
Oh no. Oh no.
pincers, and worse. She had seen the horns and eyes of monsters which parodied existence itself, had felt the tongues of fire that issued from their lying words. Death and war and promise and pain. A galaxy ruled by the dead, the violent, the scheming, and the mindlessly obsessed. She watched worlds burn and burn and burn without end.
Yikes.
A death 1,000 years long, dragged slowly out. She tasted the ashes, ashes born from ashes. And in the last instance, she could even hear it. The laughter. The horrible laughter. When she finally found herself orienting back
not
on
the
reality,
laughter.
the Jedi realized that she had fallen to her knees, and that her saber had dropped from her hand and rolled to the feet of the grinning, monstrous thing that faced her.
Oh no.
Her fingers were trembling, clutching at her tunic vest, feeling the rapid beat of her heart thumping hard and uncontrolled in her chest.
Oh no.
She took a deep breath, but found herself unable to calm the racing of her heart. She attempted to rise, but found she lacked the strength to do so. Ayla looked up with unbelieving eyes at the monster who now stood over her, blade raised, foot trapping her weapon beneath it.
What are you?
She breathed. The Imperial smiled even more widely, his grotesque teeth appearing to grow larger as his thin lips withdrew even more. He extended his own free hand towards her, and Ayla shuddered, gasping as a harsh pressure suddenly pushed in on her from all directions, holding her perfectly in place and rendering her utterly immobile.
That's
Once he
awful.
seemed satisfied with his psychic bindings, the creature lowered his black rapier, and the unnatural blur which had surrounded him during the fight fell away. She could observe him more clearly now, seeing that the bright golden smudges on his robes had not been the results of merely blurred metals and pins, but also the distortion of a large golden threaded symbol which predominated the front of his robes. An enormous, stylized eye. The Imperial took a shallow bow, splaying his arms in an open, mocking gesture.
I am the eye that watches from the long shadows,
said the man-creature, black
That's
eyes
bad.
I am the hand which commits the sins saints dare not consider. I am the mouth which questions silently for those answers which must not be known. I am the judgment of the righteous and the warden of the grey. I am an agent of the Emperor's most holy and devout Inquisition. And I see that despite our legend and reputation, I am, yet again, unappreciated by my allies and by my enemies. Utterly unexpected,
he said. Ayla tried to draw in breath but could barely manage it.
Yikes.
What do you want?
She asked. His unpleasant smile became even more demonically composed.
Oh, this is awful.
The intention in his
Not
eyes
the
reading as
Inquisition.
vile in every sense.
I was admittedly not expecting your intrusion, Jedi. I thought us rather well hidden here. That being said,
Oh,
your
boy.
arrival is not unwelcomed.
Oh, you're gonna
I
get...
have longed for a Jedi specimen of my own ever since arriving in this putrefied galactic disk. And now, well, now I have one.
He said,
Ew.
reaching into his robe and drawing out a thin, silver scalpel. Ayla shivered at the sight of the cold instrument. The metal almost seemed to shriek in her mind, as if the echoes of 1,000 agonized voices were left staining its otherwise bright edge. She pulled against the restraining force around her, but found no give in it, heart racing even faster as the man took a step towards her and began to bend. Her hand tightened, squeezing again and again in futile resistance.
What do you want?
She reiterated. He grinned his monster's grin.
A new pawn. Someone who can be my eyes, my ears, my will inside your republic. Thank you for volunteering. And don't worry, while this will involve a lot of cutting, I will be sure to steer clear of your pretty face.
He kneeled down to be at level with her, long, serpent-like tongue sliding out to lick across his lips, somehow avoiding.
Let me make it clear, I don't support everything that the Inquisition does. But it was the word specimen. Didn't like that one. Didn't like that.
Putting the edges of his many teeth.
Soon I'll split open that naive, soft mind of yours. I'll tenderly, carefully scoop out the things I don't want. And then, when you are in pieces, I'll...
Please, can we skip this, can we skip... Can we just get to the torture? Can we skip the foreplay here? Can we skip that, please? I don't need to hear it. Just get right to the cutting, please. I don't need it. I don't need it. No. No, just do it. Just do it, okay, man?
Stitch you back together with me inside.
She felt involuntary shudders fill her, and a desperate, wild fear begin to gnaw at the binding of her discipline. Her knuckles were white, eyes wide, almost bulging as the Inquisitor stroked the flat of his scalpel across her cheek.
Stop!
She started.
Shh. The work here is mine to do. All you need to worry about is the screaming.
Oh.
He cooed as he raised the scalpel, now angling it to do more than stroke. His smiling face twitched, and a degenerate eagerness spilled off the creature in waves. Ayla knew he was not trying the least bit to hide. Her heart ached in her chest, beating so hard, so fast. When was the last time she had felt fear like this?
Scream. Loud and long, Xenos. Scream to make my work go all the quicker. Tau Eldari Rackle, you will be mine.
His words were cut short by an unexpected explosion.
Ooh. I'm relieved for her. Yeah, I mean, I will say, what he was gonna do is a very good opportunity. It reminds me of Inquisitor Haldane and how he did things. And like, Tanith, Gaunt's goes first and only. I mean, that is a very, 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 very cool and clever way to get what you want. And it would be very helpful. But, yeah, I'm happy that she didn't have to deal with that. That really, ooh. It's a bit distasteful to me.
The ceiling above them breaking open as breaching charges detonated. Debris and dust spilled in, followed closely by Aquila Squad, led by Captain Graves at the front.
Good for
Heavily
him.
armed and already firing,
Give that man a promotion.
The clones descended in a rain of blue bolts, one of which caught the Inquisitor in the chest, staggering the man back, though the bolts seemed to barely scorch his robe. A medal on his shoulder flaring to life and sheathing his entire body in a brief field of eye-achingly bright luminescence.
Upstarts!
The Imperial barked, punching out with his scalpel-bearing fist. One of the many rings there flashing to life, bursting apart as it issued forth a draconic column of what seemed to be pure magma. The gouge of heated material completely devoured the forms of two commandos instantly.
Oof.
But their attack had still managed to break his concentration, something which became clear when Ayla's lightsaber flew up from where it had been on the floor and into the Jedi Master's waiting hands. She leapt forward in a lunging thrust which saw her connect with his lower torso. Once more, the Inquisitor was tossed away, the metal on his shoulder flaring bright and then bursting as it expended its technology, defending him from the lightsaber.
Damn Xenos!
He roared, blurring once more and narrowly avoiding two more counter-strikes, dodging blue bolts all the while. Just then, a
What is this pose? That doesn't seem very, like, battle stancey. She's like, yeah, look at my boobs. She's like, check me out. Look at them. That is an interesting. Get 'em, girl.
set of wide double doors burst open, and more squads of troopers, composed of some of the vanguard, spilled in and began to open fire on the Imperial from their side of the room. The Inquisitor leapt and parried, and Ayla was slow to pursue, leaving him with time to aim his fist again, destroying another ring as it fired a thick, black beam of some kind of energy. The beam warped and crushed the wall into a small marble of dense material, but this time the commandos were ready, diving and rolling out of sight and avoiding the stream of malefic death. Meanwhile, the Inquisitor was batting aside the blue bolts fired from the vanguard, face a rictus of fury as he did. Ayla steadied herself, about to dash back in to confront the monstrous Imperial when she sensed something. The shark-toothed man was drawing in power, feasting on the Force like a starved beast let loose in a pantry. She knew what came next and reached out, attempting to intercede.
Be gone from my sight!
The Inquisitor ordered, black eyes flaring white as power rolled out of him, crashing and trampling over itself as it rushed invisibly towards the troopers. Ayla managed to throw her presence between them just in time, her mental influence reaching and rushing around the billowing wave of psychic death their enemy had issued forth. And yet, once more, Ayla found herself facing a different kind of beast than the ones she had been dealing with before. This man clearly did not fear the Force as the other Imperials did, and his techniques were not half as blunt nor comprehensible as those she had already encountered. Ayla's head snapped back, blood spurting from her nose from the psychic backlash, only barely managing to stay upright with the help of Captain Graves, who had reached her position along with the rest of his squad. "General, are you all right?" the clone asked, supporting her as she blinked her eyes back into focus.
She's having a rough time.
Vanguard, Ayla muttered, holding her head in her hands. Graves looked that way and scowled beneath the visor of his helmet. Half the Vanguard had died instantly when Ayla's defenses had failed, heads bursting like struck water balloons in their helmets.
That's
the
awful.
rest had little time to thank their good graces as the Inquisitor crossed the distance between himself and the remaining clone troopers, his image a fuzzing, disorienting blur of motion. Men began to scream and die as he waded in amongst them, driving his rapier into eyes and throats and then into backs as troopers attempted to scatter. In what seemed mere moments, he had killed the entire Vanguard force, robes smoking, blood boiling on the black blade's wickedly straight length.
Incredible.
He turned to face Ayla and her elite clones, face dark and indistinct. The commandos had already lined up their shots and barely needed their captain's command to do what they knew they needed to do. "Open fire!" Graves ordered. Aquila's squad did so, though in place
don't know
of
who
the
I'm rooting
traditional rain
for.
of blue bolts, they opted instead to fire their...
Let me clarify. I know who I'm rooting for overall, but like in the individual scenarios, it varies. I kind of want them to kill this creeper. He's I don't like him.
underslung grenade launcher attachments, a personal favorite of this particular unit. The explosives sailed on plumes of trailing smoke, exploding on contact with the ground wherever they fell. But the Imperial Inquisitor was far from done, growling and baring bloody teeth as he swept his free hand out in front of him. Fully half the grenades which had flown for him seemed to bounce against the air, ricocheting back the way they'd come. Graves grit his teeth, drawing his blaster pistol and neatly sniping the two explosives out of the air before they could make it back. Already, the Imperial was advancing at an unnatural speed, skidding across the distance like a Jedi possessed. "Back up, now!" Graves radioed into his wrist comm. He then snapped his arm out, firing with the rest of his squad in a desperate attempt to halt the monstrous advance of the enemy. But try as they might, they simply could not pin him. He was too fast, and when he wasn't, he made their sluggish bolts even slower.
Oh my
the
gosh,
meters
this guy's
between
scary.
them and him were vanishing by the second. Ayla, who had been leaning against his other shoulder, stepped forward and raised her blade, sweat dripping down her chin, teeth clenched as she struggled to control her nerves. They were nearly pitched from their feet then as another explosion rocked the building for a second time, this one even larger than the blasts of the breaching charges. The entire windowed wall of their left came away, and in swept the Aquila herself, the name of both the squad and the gunship christening the side of the painted craft. The leering orange and red face of the Starbird the gunship was named after faced the Inquisitor. The blaster cannons mounted just beneath the stylized beak also clearly honed in on his position, as were the two
How is he gonna get out of this one?
and the various missile pods mounted above them. There was a pause, a moment where the Imperial monster faced down the hovering form of the Republic war machine, both instruments of death weighing the other. The Inquisitor raised the heel of his right foot, and the gunship opened fire. The Inquisitor reached out with his left hand, the green blaster bolts diverting to the left and right as if striking a reflective barrier in the air. Before the whole ship quaked, trembled, and began to creak in the psychic grasp of the Imperial. The wing gunners attempted to open fire, but found their own beams similarly diverted or unable to reach. But the rain of more mundane blaster fire from the commandos, the continuing hail of blaster cannon bolts from the turrets on the gunship, and then Ayla's own force push, met his defense at once and overcame it. He cursed, spinning away, robes scorched and smoking from every surface as he took off at a run, leaping up onto the wall of the transit center, and zigzagging his way higher and higher until he was within reach of a second-story balcony. The gunship, now free of the man's psychic vice, fired all its missile pods at once.
Whoa.
The Inquisitor barely managed to leap over the salvo as the munitions whistled in, his blurred body arching in the air, landing on the balcony like a dark meteor.
Is this just the 2003 Grievous fight? I watched that forever ago, so I barely remember how it went. But I mean, it is a very cool fight. I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
Trailing black smoke and rolling backwards onto his hands and knees, just managing to avoid the blind, scything volleys of blaster fire which chased after him. "Keep it up! Smoke him out!" Graves ordered, sheathing his own pistol and pulling up his blaster rifle, preparing the grenade launcher. A hand grasped the barrel of his gun and forced it down. Scowling, Graves turned in shock to find the culprit was none other than his own general. "No! Belay that order! We are retreating now!" Ayla said to the others.
He'll bonk you.
"But General, we must pursue!"
No,
Graves insisted.
I would not.
"If we pursue, we die. Let's go, commandos! That's an order!" She snapped. "General!" Graves said in acknowledgement, waving his men back. The commandos maintained a lethal screen of fire as they pulled back to the open side hatches of the gunship, mounting up quickly, reading no life signs in any of the others who had come with them. Once they were all on board, Ayla grasped onto the back of Graves' armored shoulder and squeezed hard enough for him to feel it.
Thank
In
you.
response, he raised his wrist comm again and spoke. "Pilot, gun it!" he ordered. Sir, the clone affirmed, spinning the gunship around, allowing the tail gunner to take over the covering fire before lurching forward in a rush of repulsor lift boosters. They were out of sight in seconds, even as the Inquisitor stalked up to the shattered wall, watching the lingering trails of smoke left in the wake of their retreat dissipating. He pondered as he did, and then listened as his malicious servant dragged himself to his side.
I suppose you have a good reason for not.
It's because he already has, like, a piece of her mind. Or something like that. He let them go. Yeah, he probably would have preferred to do more, but... he has a plan.
Intervening?
The Inquisitor growled.
Yes.
Cackled the creature who cowered in his shadow.
Your orders. You claimed the reckoning was yours.
It crooned.
Between me and her, yes. But the replicae were clearly not part of that arrangement.
The Inquisitor retorted. The malformed thing shrugged its uneven shoulders.
You could have killed them all if you had truly desired it.
It said.
Yeah?
Yes. At the cost of revealing myself to every psyker on the planet. You will be punished for this.
Is it
Said
coax?
the Imperial. His monster hissed and clawed the ground, rending furrows in the steel floor.
You are merely venting on me, Master.
Whined the thing.
You are upset that she got away.
It dared accuse. The Inquisitor merely laughed at the notion.
The Jedi can run as far and as fast as she can. There is nowhere on this world she can run to that will enable her to escape what is coming.
Oh.
She has only prolonged the inevitable.
Oh, man. This is very good. I am so happy with this show. I love it. Except, unfortunately, I think today that's gonna be where we stop because I am so tired. I'm so drained from all the emotions and excitement. No, the next one is like, what, an hour and a half? Yeah, it's an hour and 45 minutes. Even assuming he only talks for 30 of those minutes. No, it's been a day. It's been a long day. It's been a long day. It's been a long day. Yeah, I'm eepy. You might have noticed me yawning. And it's not because it's boring, it's just because I'm very tired. By the end of the day, and I do this, I'm like, oh. The voice, Fan's voice is very soothing. And it's nice to listen to. And then on top of that, just the excitement of making partner and all of the emotions that came with it was just wonderful. Wonderful. So thank you, everyone, for joining. No raid or anything tonight for either side. Tomorrow morning, so we are going to be working on more Baneblade and more miniature painting. So join me tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time. I think that's what I put on the schedule. I have to double check. But join me in the morning. Work on your gray pile of shame right before Christmas. Before you maybe get new. Yeah, you need to paint your minis because if you get some for Christmas, you're just gonna keep stacking up. You're just gonna keep stacking up your minis, so you gotta paint them. So join me tomorrow for that. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll relax and we'll have a really good time. And thank you for the congratulations. Thank you all for being part of this. I appreciate all of you and all of your support. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. And I will see you all tomorrow, okay? All right, I'll catch you guys then. Bye.